Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome to another episode of Music Row Hideout, a show where we hang out with artists, musicians, and entertainers in Wayland Jennings' old basement studio. My name is Jury, and as always, I am gathered here with co-host Ryan Poole, who I'll pass it to introduce the guest.
And tonight, on a very special episode of Music Row Hideout,
The most special.
we have the most special guest, Jet Jurgensmeyer.
How's it going?
I always
Glad
try
to
to
be
time
here.
it like right as the music dies.
That was really impressive.
Yeah, thank you.
I was sitting over here rocking. That intro song goes hard.
Thank
that
you.
was great. Oh, that
By a
just
band,
guitar solo.
Dawson Hollow.
Dawson
Produced
Hollow.
by
Shout out
Ryan.
Dawson Hollow, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. We
Yeah.
recorded
was-
that in Montana.
Which,
By the way, and I'm
love
gonna
Montana.
say who Jet Jurgensmeyer is in a second, but
People can figure it out.
instant tangent. So when I asked ChatGPT about, I was like, so full disclosure, I asked ChatGPT about you,
Amazing.
and because I mean, you're Googleable, but I wanted to find out. I was like, what's something nobody like would ask him about?
That's crazy.
And anyway, one thing that popped up that I thought was interesting, and maybe people would, but it said that you like Montana and Wyoming.
That's so strange that it would know that.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever talking about that in public.
Yeah, but Google hears
Do
everything
you
you
now?
say.
Yes, I do.
So talk to me about Montana, because my
That's
my
great.
grandma has a ranch there, and that's where I proposed to my fiance. Now
And that's where we
fiance.
recorded that song.
That's
that's where we
beautiful.
recorded that
That's
song.
amazing. That's really
So
cool.
where in
That's-
Montana do you go?
So it's funny. So I feel like the cheesy answer is to say like the show Yellowstone. Like
Yeah, I love
everybody,
Yellowstone.
it's such a great show.
Incredible.
As a side tangent from this tangent,
Yeah.
as a cattle farmer, that is probably the most accurate show as far as the actual cattle part goes. The doctor and the cattle, the worrying about
New
things.
tangent. Are you
things
a
like
cattle
that.
farmer?
I am. Yes. Yes. So my family has a 3,000 acre cattle farm in Missouri. So
wow.
nowhere near to the size of the Dutton Ranch, the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch.
Right.
So
but
my family has a cattle ranch in Montana.
that's amazing.
I think it's 1,000 acres.
That's
so not as good
amazing.
as yours, but it's near Yellowstone.
Oh,
so that
that's
sort of balances
awesome.
it out.
Yeah.
So like as far as that show goes, aside from like taking people to this train station,
Right.
aside from the murder every other episode or every episode,
Yeah, after a while, it's every.
yeah, when you make like season 5, it's just like everybody's dead. As far as the actual cattle part goes, it is pretty accurate. But I have only been to Montana one time. So
Dude, and ChatGPT knows it.
ChatGPT knows it. So I stopped there briefly flying, I can't remember if it was to or from Alaska about 2 years ago. My
Okay.
grandfather has a cabin in a really small town in Alaska, and we go salmon fishing every year.
Nice.
And we happened to stop in Montana for like an hour and a half for a refuel, and then flew on from there. And I just
Flipping
remember
ChatGPT knows that?
apparently, and I just remember sitting standing on the runway in the middle of this Montana airport,
Yeah.
looking at just the mountains for miles in the distance.
Do you know what town?
And Lord, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I do not remember.
Where,
but it was beautiful.
Where in Alaska is your grandpa?
So it's King Salmon, Alaska. It's a really small town.
I have no idea.
It's really
Okay.
far west.
I went fishing for king salmon
Oh,
and
that's cool.
halibut in Alaska
That's cool.
with my grandpa.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Yeah, so I've only gone up for silver salmons. King salmon, the population is like super low nowadays. They still go up there though to
That's on
fish
you,
for
Ryan.
king salmon. Yeah, it's all your fault, Ryan. Gosh, conservation. It's an important thing. Come on.
Yeah.
No, so I love Montana. I really want to go up and like vacation there.
Yeah.
I'm an avid like fisherman, hunter, and outdoors person. So which is so strange that it said Wyoming. I just said like 2 days ago, I can't remember, I might have been talking to my girlfriend, I might have been talking to somebody, and I was like, I want to go to Wyoming to go hunting because Wyoming has some great mule deer and some great hunts up there. And I just said that the other day. So the fact that ChatGPT
Oh, it's
knows
crazier
this,
than that. I was watching.
quit listening to me.
I
Like,
was
that's
watching
crazy.
a video the other day where this guy, he goes, there are all these rumors going out that like your microphones on your computers and your phones are always listening.
Absolutely.
And he goes, so we're going to test that right now. He goes, I don't have one of these. And he takes a piece of paper out and he writes the word dog and holds it up to the camera. He goes, I've never searched for it. He's like, I don't need it. He's like, so first he opened up all these just random websites. And we're like, look at the ads. Nothing about this. Nothing about dogs, right?
Oh, I feel like I saw this.
And then he just goes, okay, now let's just talk about it for a minute. And he's recording. He's not streaming or anything. He's just recording. And he just goes, I've been thinking lately about dogs. If I were to buy anything right now, it would be dog toys. It's like maybe some dog food, some dog toys, maybe a Kong, a ball, dog training, and he just like for 2 minutes he talks. Then he opens it up. Every single website was all dog ads.
No.
That's crazy.
And I was like, oh no.
My mother did that with like a car. We were talking, like my dream vehicle is a blue Ford F-150. Always has been since I was like 4 years old.
Okay.
And so, I mean, years ago, like this was probably 4 or 5 years ago.
That's an achievable dream.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm like, I had one of those. I bought it for $1,500.
See, right, I'm in college, so like as a freshman, I wanted to buy a used like little small SUV. But I drive a 2016 Jeep Cherokee now. But when I get out of college, you best believe I am buying the newest, improved, souped up Ford F-150.
Yeah.
But
Blue.
we were yes, blue. And we were talking about it, and my mom opened Facebook. And Facebook's like notorious for this as well.
Yeah.
Big time. And so like the first ad was Ford sold in your area. It was like the Facebook Marketplace ads
Just
for
immediately.
Ford F-150s. And the first one was like white. The second one was a blue one. And then it just went down the line. I'm like, there's no, and that's like a huge conspiracy everybody like gets into. But
I don't think it's conspiracy anymore. That shit
honestly,
is proven.
there's gotta be somebody that's making money off it. Like who's paying for those ads and who's paying to like, hey, anytime you record somebody talking about dogs, give them an ad for my company.
Yeah.
Like how.
They pay per click. That's why. If you don't click on it, nobody gets paid.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so wild, and the fact that that's like a real thing now is terrifying.
Yeah, there's no
crazy.
like. I mean, you don't remember this because you're a little younger than us, but I remember when the internet was brand new. Like when we were getting on the internet.
The
oh yeah. He's like Netscape Navigator, like 6 websites. And that was not that long ago.
Oh, absolutely.
That was what, 25 years ago?
What year were you born, by the way?
2004.
Oh,
I know.
04.
How's that
Isn't that
make
crazy?
you feel?
I graduated
Kinda
high school
crazy.
in 05.
Yeah,
Wow.
Same. Yeah, we're the same age.
That's so funny.
He's older.
So I teach audio at SAE.
Yeah.
Have you heard of SAE? School across the street. You
Yes,
probably
I
get
have.
Instagram ads all the time.
I
do.
You will now.
Dude, I will now. My phone's sitting right there in the floor. I'm bound to
Bro,
get
it's
ads.
on it's on your wiki. It's like, and he loves SAE.
Of course.
in Montana.
Ask ChatGPT right now. They'll tell you.
But I have a lot of students that are like born 2005, the year I graduated high school, and I'm like, that's crazy.
You know what makes me feel old is so I'm an only child, but I have a lot of cousins. I have 11 first cousins on my dad's side. I think I have like 6 or 7 on my mom's. And then a lot of a lot of really close friends that have younger kids that I kind of like babysat and grew up basically being like an older brother to. And I want to say it was like I think I was 17, and this little snot-nosed brat. God, I love him to death. Deacon. He's like 6 now, 7. But he said to me, he was like, Jet, you're old. And he was like 4. And he looked at me, he's like, you're like 17, you like drive, you have a car. He's like, you're about to like, at the time I was about to like be out of high school. He's like, you're old. And I was like, you shut up right now. I remember when I was there to change your diapers. You be quiet, you little brat. Like,
But what you just said proved his point.
I
You're
know.
old.
I had never felt old until then. And now I see like my second and third cousins that like I was there for like their baptism when they were like 3 months old. And now they're in like 4th grade and like 10.
Yeah,
and
they're
talk
actual
about
people.
like, yeah, my girlfriend and I just broke up. I'm like, you shut up. You don't have a girlfriend. You're 10. What'd you guys do? Sit next to each other at recess? Like, be quiet. Dude, but on the like ChatGPT though, jumping back to that AI stuff is wild. I love like learning on that and like the conspiracies behind it. I listened to a story like a couple months ago, and it was somebody was talking about how they put it in the perspective of somebody talking about how AI would take over the world and what it would do, how it would connect to the satellites, how it would shut down all the grid because the cities would then collapse. It would only be like us country folks that know how to survive in the wild.
I've heard of this movie, but have you ever seen The Terminator?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a button push.
It's like,
That was
literally
5 out of 10 button push, but whatever.
It was a little late, but it still worked. I found it enjoyable. There's going to be 6 of us listening to this.
Wesley,
that
put a
laugh.
Terminator button on here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Skynet is becoming real.
100%.
It is.
100%.
And Elon Musk is doing it.
Absolutely.
And nobody can stop him.
Dude,
As he goes like, oh, this is terrible. We don't need they're doing bad stuff with AI.
I'm gonna put robots in your brain.
Somebody asked him about like killer robots, and he did you guys see the clip of him? He's like, oh, it wouldn't be hard. You could just buy like a pack of drones for like $1,000, and then just with the facial recognition that iPhones and like Samsungs use, you could put a small explosive device on that and have a fleet of killer drones. Yeah. And that's just out there on the internet. Yeah. The wealthiest man in the world is out there talking. I'm like, hello, underworld society? But the story I was listening to about how AI would take over the world, at the very end, after it talked about how humanity would just collapse after destroying civilization through itself, it goes, this story was written by ChatGPT. Like, they asked ChatGPT, how would you take over, or some sort of AI source, how would you take over the world if you were AI?
Didn't you do that same thing?
And AI wrote that.
I did similar. I went through, I tried to get it. At first, it wouldn't. It was all sorts of blocks. I'd be like, is AI going to take over the world? And it was like, there's so many protections in place, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, all right. I'm like, but could it take over the world?
Exactly.
And it was like, well, and it was like, and I asked like 10, 15 more questions. And at the end, it was like, yeah, I could own this shit. Like,
literally, I don't understand how the whole ChatGPT thing goes, because I'm not like a tech person. Like, I understand tech better than like my grandparents, but like I'm not like a tech major. I'm not a computer nerd. I didn't get a laptop till I was like 14. So
you're sitting across from a computer nerd. So if you want to ask
this is
questions,
great.
I write code during the day.
Oh my
beard,
lord!
Glasses, isn't it obvious?
Of course. In the flip flops,
The whole vibe.
dude does not walk anywhere. He types code. That's amazing.
Absolutely. Anyways, I believe about 20 minutes ago, I passed it to you to introduce the guest. And
Oh yeah. What's my name? I don't know. I'm just here.
ChatGPT doesn't either.
Honestly.
It does. Jet Jurgensmeyer is a 19-year-old singer-songwriter, artist, and actor.
Yes, sir.
And you do voiceover. You do other stuff.
I do everything.
Cook, clean. What else?
I'm a terrible cook, but I tell you what, if you ever want like bacon and eggs, I got you. That's
Yeah,
about all I
I
can
can do
cook.
that
I can
too.
cook steak. I've actually cooked burgers and hot dogs before by myself without supervision.
So you can cook food that the whole cooking process is just like make it hot.
Pretty much. Pretty much. If it's a form of meat, I can cook it. Anything else that's like
You just make it
you gotta
hot.
put it in the oven, you gotta
Very manly of you.
slice it.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm a southern boy that grew up cooking on the grill with my dad or like on a fire, so I don't know how
Bacon,
to.
eggs, steak, and hamburgers.
You should
American way.
You should 100. You should see my diet. It's bad. It's amazing. I look like I do as far as like being skinny, and I'm not like 400 pounds.
Oh, you bet you're 19.
Yeah,
This
give
is
it a
true.
minute.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm always hungry. I'm always eating so much food, and my parents are like, God. My dad is like, God, what I would give to be 19 again. I could just eat whatever I wanted and not feel like crap the next day.
I don't know. 19 sucked.
Really?
But like 28, that's where it's at.
Really?
That's the perfect. Like 25 to 28. That's the golden era.
That's what I'm excited
Be
for. I'm excited
that
for the
one.
20s.
Because people start thinking about you as an adult, but you're not. To be fair, I'm 36. I'm like, I'm still not an adult. We're not there yet.
I still get like I've been an adult for like 2 years now, 18, 19.
Yeah.
But I still get that, well, there's still teen in your name, in your age. There's still teen in it.
Yeah.
So I know people don't say wish away. I know people say don't wish away your years and things like that. But I am excited for the 20s to roll around and not only see what happens as far as like career goes, but to feel like an adult.
Yeah. You know, I totally agree with you that there's like, you still go, am I really an adult? And I'm like, I have said to you multiple times now, I'm getting married this year. So I'm like, I guess then I'm really an adult.
Yeah.
No.
He's been married for 7 years.
I've been married for 9 years and own a house, and I'm still like, I don't feel like an adult.
Now, before we dive deeper,
Okay.
we've gone a lot longer than we normally do without making somebody play us a song.
Okay.
Yeah, we
So,
should do a song.
Yeah. What were you going to play first?
Absolutely. So first I'm going to be playing my latest single, Good Days. I wrote this one it was our first write, actually. I wrote it with my good friend Drew Rizzuto. And it was for the people that haven't heard it, don't let the title fool you. It is not a happy song. It's an upbeat heartbreak song.
Nice.
It's a breakup song. So
Best
yeah.
kind.
Yes.
Why you never wanna run away, run with me, baby, till we find a better place. Always telling me you wanna go, but you're scared of things that change your perfect halo. Yeah. I'm here every time you ain't the same. Something about you and the pain gives me a high and makes me look back to all the ways I got lost in the good days. Your ego's pulling me in, at it again, like a drug stealing my blood, but it never ends. Like we're stuck in a frame, perfect through pain, always the same, but with some medicine we can make it work. Well, I'm here every time, same thing, but I don't mind. Put me through hell, but I'm always crawling back to the lies. Heartbreak to you ain't the same. Something about you and the pain gives me a high, makes me look back to all the ways I got lost in the good days. Got lost in the good days. Was it broken from the start? Was it written in the stars? Were we made for broken hearts before you tore me apart? I'm here every time, same thing, but I don't mind. Put me through hell, but I'm always crawling back to the lies. Heartbreak to you ain't the same. Something about you and the pain gives me a high, makes me look back to all the ways I got lost in the good days. Got lost in the good days. Why you never wanna run away, run with me, baby, till we find a better place.
So tell us what the song's about.
Absolutely. So like I said, I wrote it with my friend Drew Rizzuto. It's our first time writing together. And when I had the idea 15 minutes before the write. He was coming over to my house, and I was going through my notes, going through my voice memos, which is just full of usually song ideas and work tapes and various recordings of melodies and stuff like that. And I had zilch. I had nothing to bring to the write. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to write with this dude for the first time and have nothing to bring to the table. So I started chunking on my guitar. I was like, simplest chord progression, G, C, E minor, D. Boom. That's what I'm going to play.
Classic.
And as you see me playing the song, that's literally what the song, what the chord progression is. And so I was like, okay. I was like, okay, boom. Recorded that. He came in because I knew he had more of a pop feel. I'm country. I write everything, but, a lot of my stuff on this album is going to be more country rock because that's kind of what it's what I've kind of found myself as an artist. I enjoy more making. The last album was filled with a lot of pop country. Now it's more country rock. That's kind of what I like. Big Cody Johnson fan, inspiration, stuff like that.
Cool.
So I brought that to Drew to kind of see what we could run with. And he was like, oh, yeah, that's a really cool vibe. and I was like, all right, let's run with the vibe.
Like, I've had this in my back pocket for a month. Just
Yeah,
waiting
man.
for you, man.
I had this idea, and I was like, dude, I need to save this for Drew. I think that actually is what I told him. And then later, I was like, I'm not going to lie to you, I had this 15 minutes before we wrote the dang song. So I then, which is funny because the first song I put out for this upcoming album is called Falling 2. It's a very similar story, but my co-writer is the one that did this. But for Good Days, I'm the one that did it. I hummed the first two lines of the song. I went, why you never want to run away, run with me, baby, till we find a better place. And I was like, I don't know where that's going, but it's kind of cool. And, all of the songs on this album are stories about me and things that I've been through. And so I've had my first heartbreak, and I've been through that sort of stuff. So all those songs now are things that I can relate to, and they're my story. So I think during that time, I might have seen an Instagram post by her, and I was like, so I'm gonna write a song about it.
Yeah.
So then Good Days came up, and I was like, I think upbeat heartbreak songs are really fun and cool.
Yeah.
And if it also taps into the people that aren't listening to the lyrics and just want the vibe of the music and the instruments and the melody.
Yeah.
And it's a very fun melody. It's a fun, the whole produced out thing is really, really cool. And so that was the idea behind it. I said that to Drew, and he was like, yeah, I can totally run with that. And I can relate to the whole heartbreak thing of being through a breakup. I was like, perfect. So we just kind of ran with it, and now it's the new single, and I love the song, and I love the way it turned out.
Killer. One of my favorite bands is Jimmy Eat World. Have you heard of them?
I haven't.
Gotcha. They were like releasing albums before you were born.
They've released plenty of albums since
And
he's been
some
alive.
after you were born.
Gotcha. Okay.
Even
They're not
one
that
like
old.
2 years ago. But
Okay,
yeah, they're
gotcha,
still
gotcha.
here.
They were pretty big about the time you were
I've
born.
probably heard some of their
Yeah.
songs and just don't know the band name.
Yeah,
for sure.
It just
guaranteed.
takes some time. Little
Yeah.
girl in the middle. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. God, now
So-
I
It's the one
feel
everyone knows.
yeah, now I feel terrible. Like, no, I haven't heard of that band before. Shut up,
And
Jet.
they do listen to every episode, so they sort of hate you now.
I'm sorry, guys.
Just kidding.
I'm sorry.
Actually, my goal of the podcast is to interview Jim Adkins from Jimmy Eat World. So,
Do it.
Jim, if you are listening, once he comes on the show, we close shop the next day.
done.
We're
Yes.
done. We did it.
We did it.
Made it.
I will not be here, so they will kick me off the show, so that way you can come on the show and they not have somebody that sounds like an idiot.
But anyhow, they one thing I heard him say in some interview at some point in time was that he likes to write songs that are either sound happy but have sad lyrics, or sound sad but has happy lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
And he says that to him the combination of those two things makes something feel bittersweet and give it kind of more of a nostalgic feel.
Absolutely.
And so that's something I pull on all the time.
Oh,
Slow
100%.
song is happy music by them.
Oh, there's slow ones out there.
I mean, by Jimmy Eat World. I was like thinking about it. I was like, okay, what are the slow ones? I was like,
I was
Run
thinking
for
of-
me, sad.
Sad, yeah.
Cautioners.
I don't know what it's about.
I have no idea what that song's about. I love that song. I have no idea what it's about.
That's funny.
But Cautioners
Yeah.
makes me think of Cautionary Tale. I would assume more sad.
I kind of did the same thing with like the song I'll be playing for y'all in a bit is that upbeat song, upbeat vibe, that country rock vibe. But
Yeah.
it's another song that if you really delve into the meaning behind the lyrics, you can tell that it's a heartbreak song.
Yeah.
Which I love doing that. It's a thing that it's really it tests you creatively, because obviously if I'm gonna write a song that's about me being sad and upset about going through something like a breakup, naturally I'm gonna be down here, and but forcing myself to write that upbeat style of that, I actually think is more challenging and makes it way more creative in the end.
Whoa. Have you ever seen the movie The Rocker?
No,
It's literally the premise of the movie.
really?
Well, yeah, they hire this drummer and he's like this old metal guy,
Yeah.
and they start
Timmy
playing this.
Geiger. Timothy Geiger?
Timothy Geiger?
Have you heard of him before?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
he's the lead character.
Gotcha.
Oh, is that his name?
Okay.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Because he released
But the
music
drummer is
later.
Dwight from The Office.
No
Yeah.
way! It's Rainn Wilson.
Yeah.
And this movie is incredible. It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Oh, I
And
love Rainn
They go to
Wilson.
play this song, this sad song, and he
Listen-
just drums way too fast, and so
The-
they
the
pick it
song-
up and it becomes a hit.
Let me. He goes, I'm not bitter.
This is the song for the movie.
Oh,
But I've seen
It's actually a really
better
good song.
days. I'm not bitter. And Rainn Wilson.
He's like, yeah.
yeah. And then it turns into, I'm not bitter, but I've seen better days.
And it's like a great
That's
song.
so
And then it's like a
cool.
super fun pop rock song.
gosh.
Yeah.
Have you guys had Rainn Wilson on here? You guys should bring Rainn Wilson on.
I'll just give him a call.
Yeah, I'll call him tonight. Rainn, if you're watching this,
If you're watching.
And we know he watches every episode.
please come to my 20th birthday. Please.
Yeah,
Please.
so The Office is a weird one because The Office is like that hasn't slowed down.
No.
It's been off the air for a really long time.
I watch I
Like
go
you
to,
shouldn't even know what it is.
it's my favorite show.
but everybody
of all time.
Yeah, like even
Of all time.
people younger than you love
Of course.
The Office.
I go, which is funny because somebody who doesn't is my girlfriend. She can't stand dumb humor, like slap happy
yeah.
humor.
You just got to get her
Which
past
is like
the first
Steve
season,
Carell a lot.
and it gets better.
my Chicago fiance
Yep.
doesn't like The Office either.
She doesn't
Something's
like
wrong with
Adam
Chicago.
Sandler movies, anything like that. I'm
No.
like, dude, you've just got to give it a
Chicago's
try.
broken.
I'm like, you kidding me? Happy Gilmore?
Yeah, I love
Put
Happy
some
Gilmore.
respect on my man's name.
Yeah.
So I love The Office. And I mean, talking about it not slowing down, The Office YouTube channel posts stuff like every other
Yeah,
day.
it's ridiculous.
And it's endless. They literally have so much content from those 9 seasons
Yeah.
that it's an endless supply of
Is that like a
12-minute
lot of ad-libs
videos.
and stuff like that? Do they have
They
like
do.
cut
There's
scenes?
There's a lot of ad libs in the show.
There's a
Tons of
YouTube channel
bloopers
called
and stuff.
Comedy Bites that posts ad libs and extra takes of takes that made it in the show, and like times that the cast broke character, times that they all laughed, and things like that. But the actual Office YouTube channel just posts clips from the show, and they do like montages of,
I watch them all the time. They're great.
all the crimes that Dwight committed. Boom. Here's a
My
12-minute
favorite one
video.
was pranks against Dwight that get progressively more expensive.
Dude, I just watched that one the other day.
That's incredible.
I go to the cafeteria at Belmont, and I go by myself because I'm awesome and can sit by myself and not feel bad about myself.
Yeah.
And
You sound lonely.
man, dude, the voices in my head keep me plenty company. I tell you what, the 5 different personalities up here got us covered.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
I imagine the camera zooming in on me sitting in the back corner of the
Just as your eyebrow
cafeteria.
like, slowly
Just-
ticks up.
Yep, that's me. You probably want, yeah. So I literally go and in the cafeteria, I just sit and watch Office clips from the Office YouTube channel. And I've had times where my friends have come up to me and like started talking to me, and I'm like, all right, I'm watching something. Like, okay, bye. Yeah. And I know some people look at me and think that I'm crazy because I laugh out loud at the office. I have headphones in. I'm sitting here eating my burger, burrito, or wrap, whatever I got from the caf that day, and I'm just laughing to myself. And I know some people are like, God, he's one of
broke him.
He's one of those. Lord.
So you're talking about so The Office does have a lot of ad libs.
Yes, The
tons of
Office
ad-
is
by
great.
Steve Carell
Steve
specifically.
Carell's marvelous. I don't know of anybody. I'm sure people are going to get mad when I say this. I don't know of anybody right now that is a actor that is however old he was when that show started or close to that or could be at that level that could recreate his version of Michael Scott. I don't know anyone that does that. The closest person that is like that level of creative when it comes to ad-libbing is Ryan Reynolds. I mean, if you listen to his ad-libs, like if you listen to his Deadpool gaffes and ad-libs, it's hilarious. And he's just so creative how he can come up with that stuff on the fly.
You know who could play Michael Scott?
Who?
John Mulaney. John Mulaney could play. I could see that. I could see that translating.
That would be interesting to witness.
I feel like that'd be
very different.
like a semi. I feel like it'd be a semi-similar style, just a little more. Blah, a little more.
It'd be a very different show.
Is he the one that went to rehab? The comedian that did the whole. Yeah. He's really funny thoh.
Oh, he's great.
He's really funny. I want to see Shane Gillis as like John. What was Sean Krasinski's character? Jim.
Yeah.
Can you imagine him as Jim? God, who would be Andy? Andy Bernard. Nard Dog.
Oh God, who would be Andy?
Yeah, like I don't know. That's such a weird character.
I know who. The guy. Oh my God, what is his name? He's a comedian.
Pull on Wesley. You got a Wesley.
Yeah, Wesley. He was in the first Pitch Perfect movie. He was the head.
Oh,
he was
the
head
Andy guy, Andy Devine.
Yes, Andy Devine. Andy Devine.
Okay, yeah,
Devine.
I can see that.
Couldn't
We're making a whole new younger
couldn't
generation
he play?
cast.
Yeah.
It was Andy
Oh,
Devine.
he could be
yeah.
Andy easily.
He could
His
play
name is
Andy
Andy.
Bernard. Couldn't he?
Yeah,
Like
he
I
could.
could see him doing it.
I could see that.
He's
100%,
really
yeah.
he's funny and very very creative.
I'm still trying to picture Shane Gillis's Jim.
Dude, can you just imagine?
Beautiful dogs.
Okay. Did you
Beautiful
guys,
dogs. Beautiful dogs.
you
He's
say-
such a funny.
He does an incredible Trump.
He does.
Incredible.
room. I said it's a beautiful podcast
Wow, what a big room! I said such a big room. It's a great big room. So funny.
Now, did you all see his SNL intro video?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I
Do
saw
not
it.
spoil it.
Yeah.
Very controversial.
I have to watch
Yeah.
it because they fired him and had him back to host, didn't they?
Yeah.
Isn't that what they did?
Well, he was hired to be on SNL as as an actor
Yeah.
a long time or however a few years ago.
A few years back.
And then he got canceled.
Uh-huh.
From what I read today, for a very dubious cause.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
he
I
was
mean,
doing
all of his stand-up is fairly dubious. We're I don't actually know where you stand on literally
Exactly.
anything.
Right.
Which I think is why
Which is
he's
great.
so good is
Yeah.
because he can literally pull from every audience and nobody has to get offended
But if you
or worried.
think a certain way, you're going to
Oh, of
see a
course.
certain thing.
But that's just how
Right.
bias works in everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And how people are on everything.
It's like African American Nazis.
Yeah. We're jumping back.
It was very biased.
Exactly.
But his I'll just say I won't spoil the monologue, but I thought it was the funniest SNL monologue I've ever seen.
That's awesome.
The only other one I would say would rank is John Mulaney's last monologue, where he
Really?
talked about his rehab situation.
Oh, okay.
Also very, very good. But in
Gotcha.
both cases, the Shane Gillis and John Mulaney, they are actually going up and doing legitimate stand-up comedy for their monologues. versus
That's
like
how it should be.
the least funny monologue of all time, I would say, would be Elon Musk,
I've
who went
never
up.
seen
He
his.
tried
Oh,
so
Lord.
hard.
He's like,
He's just
I'm
not.
here.
He's
not
just
funny.
Not funny.
Yeah,
And that's fine. He doesn't need to be funny.
He's a nerd
he
that
makes
is
cars and
smart
rockets.
and has a lot of money.
Yeah,
he
he
doesn't
makes
have to
killer
be.
robots.
He doesn't have to be funny.
Why would he be?
Yeah, he's got all the money in the world. He doesn't have to be funny.
Not at all.
It's almost. I look at them bringing Shane Gillis back to host, almost like how we talked about. Was it Microsoft that fired their CEO and then hired him back?
Or
almost-
OpenAI.
Or OpenAI that fired him and then instantly was like, "Come on back."
Yeah.
They fired him. He literally blew up.
Big companies are
Yeah.
really like weak and ballless when it comes to like their
Absolutely.
decisions. They're really like,
Where
what
was
does
the-
the public want?
Yeah.
Well, it can backfire.
Oh yeah.
Like Bud Light,
Oh yeah.
because Bud Light, they were like, gay Bud Light or whatever it was. It was like rainbow cans or
Yeah,
something. I don't
something
even
like
know.
that.
Like
No,
I
no,
could
no, no.
care.
Something like
I could
that.
No,
care
it
less.
wasn't. It
Like,
wasn't.
They
No, they
sent
did.
him a case of Bud Light that like had his face on it or something. Or,
No, I mean the controversy though. Like they
Yeah,
had
the
like
controversy.
the
it
whole
was
thing.
it was something with like a transgender person.
Yeah.
They worked with an influencer who's very controversial.
Whatever
And
the
so,
reason,
yeah.
but whatever it is, like they took a hit for that.
Oh,
my-
yeah.
I was like, y'all don't know your audience. I don't think. Like, what do you?
That's funny. That's like what my family said. My Midwest and Southern family. They were like, they don't know their audience. I'm going to Coors. And I was like, I'm
Banquet baby.
I'm 18 at the time. I can't drink on it anyway, so I don't care.
I
sure.
couldn't care less.
I
got a
couldn't
horse
care
in the
less.
Like, I don't care less who your spokesperson is for your company. I don't care what
I
your
did
beliefs
hear-
are as a company.
I did hear recently. So the most outspoken person on this was Kid Rock.
When he shot an full automatic MP5 SD, which is one of my favorite guns of all time that I hope to be able to shoot one day. And he literally just mag dumped into like 18 cases of Bud Light and was like, screw Bud Light.
And you're like, bro, it's like just shitty beer. Like,
Literally, that was the one time where I was like, I mean, that was kind of cool whether you agree with it or not. That was the most American thing I've ever seen. He shot fireworks around the cases and just mag dumped into it.
well, I don't know if
That's
you've
pretty
seen,
awesome.
I watch a lot of gun YouTube.
Me as well.
And if you watch, is
GunTube?
it gun
GunTube.
If you watch, oh shoot, who is it? He's in Kentucky, not Kentucky Ballistics. Shoot, is it Donut Operator?
Donut Operators up
Someone
there.
who
Brandon Rivera.
That's what it is. He always tests out guns by shooting a White Claw.
Yes, he does.
He goes, time to test out this gun. He's like, we're testing it on ruby grapefruit today. Shoots White Claws.
Mango.
So funny.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Dude, I love Brandon's so funny. That whole crew, like they have the Unsubscribed podcast where they have like Donut on there and Brandon on there. Some of those guys are just so funny, and I love watching those gun YouTube videos because I'm a hunter and an avid gun owner, so I think it's so cool to be able to watch those things. But I know exactly what you're talking about. Where he's like, I gotta test out this new 45 I got. It's gonna
See
shoot
how
this.
it does against a White Claw.
And it's like, you mean it's compared to the same other like 20 45s that you filmed shooting on your channel, but we're gonna do it again, sure.
man.
And I'll still watch it 1,000 times because it's just
'cause
so
it's
funny.
hilarious. I love 'em.
And it's so nice to watch in the slow motion when the bullet goes
Yeah, it
through
just explodes.
and the can just.
Yeah. No, I've always been a Demolition Ranch guy. That's always
Oh,
been my
Demolition
go-to.
Ranch is
He's
great.
my main guy.
Dude, he's awesome. So fun to watch.
Yeah, he's great. It's a good time.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I love me some GunTube.
GunTube.
Okay, so how does that intersect being into guns and hunting and stuff like that? How do you handle that? Plus, you have this like, I don't know how it works for you. I want to call it an alternate life in Los Angeles,
career,
California.
yeah.
Yeah, you have a career that's very tied to Los Angeles.
Yes.
A place where most people have never seen a gun and
Exactly.
don't know
Never
what
even
it
heard of
is.
guns.
And they think that it's a snake that might bite you.
Absolutely.
So
It
how
isn't.
does that work for you?
You know, I think it's one of those things where, you know, nobody wants to outright offend. There's very few people that want to outright offend people. So, like, if I'm out there, I'm not going to just walk around talking about, like, guns, America, hunting, killing deer, yeah. Like, I'm not that kind of
He's
person.
a terrorist.
Literally, I don't care. If you don't want to shoot guns, that's fine. I will. That's fine. It's
Right.
perfectly within your
More
right.
ammo for me. Keep it a little cheaper.
Literally, please
Ammo's
lower the
hella
price
expensive.
of ammo. God, please fix this. It's so expensive. Okay, sorry, tangent. You know, I think it just has to do with staying true to who you are. Like, if people want to ask me like about my faith, I'm gonna talk about my faith. I was born and raised Roman Catholic. I love Jesus, and I go to church every Sunday, have a Bible study group. Like that's who I am, and I've written songs about it, put songs out about that. If people want to ask me about that, I'll talk about it. People want to ask me about, if I hunt, if I fish, what I think on that, I'll talk about it. I definitely...
You're still answering the question, but now
Yes.
I'm like, what is Roman Catholic versus... is there a normal Catholic and a
No,
Roman Catholic, or is that just Catholic?
It's just, I think it's mainly just Catholic. But I know specifically it's Roman Catholic. Like I've been to the cathedral, to the Vatican over in Rome, which was really cool. Got to see the Pope. That was awesome.
Crazy.
But that's just how I was raised. I born going to Catholic church. So that's what I mean. I just specify with Roman Catholic, because some people say like Southern Baptist and Baptist, things like that. I think that's
my
only
Chicago
the specific.
fiance
Uh-huh.
grew up Catholic, but
Okay.
then she changed to like Protestant Christian.
Gotcha.
But she's told me like everybody in Chicago is like Catholic, which
Well,
I feel like
that's
a lot
what-
of people in the South aren't.
My girlfriend's born and raised Catholic
Yeah.
as well. Her whole family is.
John Mulaney's from Chicago, also Catholic.
That's so
Talks
funny.
about Catholic.
That's so
Catholicism.
good to know. That's really
See,
funny.
in the
Chicago's
South, everyone's
Catholic land.
Baptist.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. In the
Well,
South, there's
I mean,
a
maybe
lot
not
of
now, but
Baptist
that's like
and
the
like
historical.
Presbyterian.
yeah.
So I definitely, when I was younger, spending more time in California, I was the kid that like wore Vans and jeans that were like, yeah. So like
I'm wearing jeans and Vans.
So
my God.
I definitely didn't look like a southern boy. My southern accent didn't come out at all, and I think that's because I always did voiceover work from when I was 5. So I always had to speak very clearly in order for they don't want a Disney doll that they're sending out to kids that has the little button you press and my voice comes out. They don't want it to have a southern accent unless the character's supposed to have
Are
a
you
southern
a
accent.
Disney doll?
I am. I did a
What doll
cowboy
are you?
doll, and I did Chip from Beauty and the Beast, the little teacup.
The teacup.
So there was a tea set thing that they put out, and I think I was
I
like
want
Chip
that
for
cup
that.
now.
You have to get it next time I
Chip
come
is
over
the
here.
cutest cup that ever was.
100%. He really was. And so
I very much identified with Chip.
You did?
Now, when Beauty and the Beast first dropped, I was probably like 5 or 6, and I saw it in theaters with my parents, and I definitely identified with Chip because he seemed to
funny.
be about my same age.
yeah, there you go.
I'm the same age as Chip. Just so
I
you
was
know.
about 5 or 6 when I did that voiceover work for it. So like it definitely like got me. I wasn't working on the farm all that much, and then I think the big thing that changed a lot of that was COVID for me, which was 4 years ago now that we can.
It's
It's
crazy.
That's when I really was able to come back to my roots. My parents always talked about me being able to stay grounded. So whenever I wasn't in California or I wasn't here on stage, we'd go to Missouri and I'd be with my grandparents. I'd go to the farm. My grandfather would pick me up 8:30. I'd be there with my little lunchbox, going out to the farm with him, watching him drink black coffee, and the Cowboys coming in talking about what they're going to do that day. So that's always what's been my roots. It wasn't until I was old enough to start actually driving myself and actually making the life choice to spend time on the farm.
Caller.
Damn it, Wesley. We need to turn Siri off my phone.
Yes. No, it's fine. That was really funny, though. I think we should have had them on the podcast.
Yeah. Honestly, who is it? They're unknown, actually.
We should have answered it and been like, hello.
Hello.
How
Like,
are you?
odds are it's somebody who wants to update my Google business.
Oh, there's spam.
I think we should. I think we should answer that.
I just
There
pulled
you go.
down the Bluetooth on our end.
So
The
that's really
second
funny.
call was from your dad.
Oh, that would have been hilarious.
We should have had Dad on here. What's your last
Next
name?
time,
Poole?
answer it. Poole, yeah.
Poole. Dad Poole. Oh, he's still on.
He is?
Hello. Hello.
He's not going through the speakers. He's
Oh, right.
Oh.
Make him go through the speakers.
He just
Yeah,
pressed the
this
button.
would be great.
This would be great.
let's see.
He probably doesn't have any idea what's going on right now.
Right now.
Very
Hello.
close. Hello?
Ryan,
Hey, how's it going, Dad?
you hear me yelling at you?
Can you hear me?
Look, you got to do something about this finance company. They keep calling me now. They say it's urgent. They just told me.
Okay, hey, Dad. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's going on?
You're we're on our podcast right now, so I'll call you back about this.
Okay, no, just call the finance company. You don't have, just call back and say you called them. They just called me again and they said it's urgent.
Okay.
Have fun with your podcast.
Hey, Dad. Let me ask. Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Let me ask you one quick question. Where the guest on our podcast is a young avid hunter, 19 years old. Do you have any advice?
For him?
Yeah.
No, you probably give me advice.
Doubtful.
You
know. Well, what kind of advice does he want?
I don't know. I just made it up. Where's your favorite hunt you ever did?
Oh, my favorite hunt I ever did? Oh, when I shot the sheep up in Alaska. That was
That's
a hell of a hunt.
awesome.
Yeah, what part of Alaska?
We started the stalk in the morning, and he was about 3 miles away, and we kept moving up on him. We got within about 500 yards, and he started moving away from me, and I unloaded on him about 7 rounds, and I hit him twice. And it was about close to a 500-yard shot up on laying in shale. My heart was beating. I could hear it beating. It was incredible.
Crazy. That's
Wow.
awesome.
And what's the best part? Where's the best place you've ever fished?
San Diego, California.
That's funny.
All right.
My last year, Howard and I went out. We had 8 tuna between 25 and 50 pounds.
As last night?
No, this was about 5 months ago at the end of the season, Ryan. I've been fishing lobsters now. I went lobster fishing last night.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, thanks for being on the show.
Proud to be on the show.
All right. We'll talk to you later, Dad.
Okay, please take care of that situation.
Okay. Yeah. I'll give him a call.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, I have plenty of fishing stories.
All right. Talk to you later.
Okay, talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was the coolest
We've never
thing
had somebody
ever.
call in
We never
before.
call her.
That was the coolest thing ever.
I love that when your dad called, my instant reaction was to go, Ryan? And then as soon as he gets on the phone,
Literally.
Ryan?
Right? That was great. That was like when I get on the phone with my grandfather, he has a cochlear implant that's connected to his phone. So he talks through his
crazy.
hearing aids.
Oh, wow.
Still cannot hear. So he calls me. I was literally sitting in my dorm like a month ago with my girlfriend. I'm sitting there. I'm like, I got to call my grandfather real quick and ask him about something. I call him and he goes, "Yo, Jet, how's it going?" And I was like, "Whoa, hey, can you hear me?" He's like, "Hold on." And he didn't have it connected to his phone. He has to click that it needs to go through his
can't be
hearing aids.
easy.
And then he finally connected him and he goes, "Yo, Jet." And just yells. Every time he answers the phone, he goes, "Yo, Jet," and yells it just like that. So when your dad went, "Ryan," I was like,
Grandpa?
that's so funny. That's literally what my grandfather does.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
funny. That was great.
Incredible. Your
Yeah.
dad does not know what a podcast is. Like, there's no shot
he's
he has any idea what that is.
He's never heard of a podcast.
He's like,
So-
"You do what? You sit and talk to people? What's a White Claw?"
Yeah. I don't talk.
Just tell
I
him
don't-
it's talk radio. He'll be like, all right.
Yeah,
There
we're
you
on a
go.
talk show. We don't. I don't usually talk about it on the podcast really, but my family is very much into fishing and hunting.
Gotcha.
So my dad works. My grandpa was he wasn't a professional fisherman. He owned boats that took people out sport fishing. Have you ever
Gotcha.
gone sport
Yeah.
fishing?
I
on the
never
ocean?
have. I never
Okay.
have, but I know people that do. My family has. Yeah.
I think the term you're looking for is he pioneered sport fishing in
long range sport
California.
fishing in San Diego, California.
There you go.
So he ran sport fishing boats in the 50s until
Oh, my
he
Lord.
died in 2009.
That's crazy.
And then he has a few marinas. And so my dad works at his marina. My dad's
That's
favorite thing to
cool.
do is fish.
That's awesome.
But my grandpa, I like to say, he made his money fishing, but he spent his money hunting.
That's
and so
so
he-
true.
He hunted around the whole world. He went to Africa like 26, 27 different times.
That's wild.
And so when my dad was saying like, he had gone hunting in Alaska, it's with his dad, my grandpa. Like
awesome.
they've hunted and fished the whole world.
That's cool. See,
Oh, it took him 7 shots. He admitted to missing
yeah,
6
he was
times.
like, yeah, that was really funny.
Now having
hit
a
the-
one-shot, one
He hit
kill.
two
First
times.
two.
Yeah, he hit the first two, and the
Sure
other
you
ones
did,
were just
bud.
for fun.
Yeah.
It's like I had rounds to spare.
I'm like,
Well,
7.
I
ammo
like that
used
he
to be
had
cheap.
an answer, by the way.
Ammo
That
used to be cheap.
He did think on his feet. He just
he
called
had a
me
great
to
answer.
talk about finances
Right off the
and-
bat.
and then he had a story. So that was great.
He killed it. That
Way
was
to go.
awesome. That was so
And now
funny.
we've both met each other's dads.
Yes, there you go. There you go. So, like, actually getting to your question of
What
how
question did I ask?
how I handle, like being
Yeah,
guns,
an
hunting,
outdoors
fishing.
person. That's not your typical Californian person.
Yeah.
Um,
Although my whole family's from California, and
yeah,
they are.
That's
that.
true. Well,
But
San
San
Diego
Diego-
It's
isn't
more rare,
California.
though. It's definitely way more rare.
San Diego is not California at all. San Diego is the Alabama of California, which is amazing. I love San
Whoa.
Diego.
I've never heard anybody say that. I'm not 100% against what you said.
I don't
Thank
know.
you.
But I'm 50% against
I feel
what
like
you
I
said
should be
I don't
against
care
it.
like Alabama.
maybe Georgia. Maybe Georgia. It's not
No,
totally.
Alabama's fine.
It's not
its own
totally
thing. It's its
wrong.
own thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
There's something to
totally
what you're saying.
inaccurate what I'm
Yeah.
saying there.
Yeah.
So
if your read, see what you're saying, what I'm hearing is you think California is Los Angeles and San Francisco.
yes.
And San Diego is not that.
Yes.
And what
Which
we
is
think
correct.
what we think California is San Diego.
Yes.
And we think Los Angeles and San Francisco are anomalies.
Are not that. Yes. Because I've spent time in LA.
Yeah.
Like that's
Right.
where
Which-
work is.
Which is the worst place in the entire world.
Yes.
It's just an absolute
No,
shithole.
You
nobody
don't have to agree with him. He hates LA
I
so
hate
much.
LA.
Nobody
Don't let
willing.
him pull you down the rabbit hole.
Oh, I dug the rabbit hole. Nobody willingly goes to like LA and stays. If you do, why?
I've never heard anybody say, I dug the rabbit hole. Did you make that up or is that from something?
No, I just created that right
Guys,
here. I'm going to
say
copyright
TM.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
TM. Yeah. TM. Yeah. So I think it really just took that. Like COVID was a blessing in disguise for me as far as like career went. You know, I focused a lot on music. I could do my voiceover work from home. And so that was what I started doing. And a lot of my last album was written during COVID. Again, blessing in disguise. It gave me a chance to really reconnect with my family that I wasn't that close with, which killed me because family is the most important thing to me. Like family, it's the classic faith, family, freedom. Like those are the things that I
You
cherish
sound like
the
a
most.
real LA boy.
I know. Like I know, but it's genuinely it's who I am. Those are the most important things to me, and I was failing in a lot of those, and so COVID was a good chance for me to really reconnect with my family, get back to my roots, and kind of. Thomas Rhett put out a song. Feels good to be country again, or damn it feels good to be country again, where he kind of went through his pop phase, and in his song that I'm talking about, he talked about like he went back in his closet and dusted off the boots and slipped them on. That's essentially what happened to me. Is I kind of hung the Vans up and
what are you
Converse
wearing? Yeah, what are
boots.
you wearing right now? Oh, dude,
I'm wearing Durangos. Like these are what I wear every day.
I'm old you, you're new you.
There you go.
Wow.
And so it felt right. It's like, oh, this is my roots. And I don't want people thinking that I'm like the city boy. I grew up working on the family farm in Missouri. Like the boots are not for show. They're not for the career. They're not for the fans. It's what I wear. I ride horses. I own a horse. I work cattle. Like that's what I do. I understand how to use a rope. I understand how to
Where's your horse?
rope a steer in Missouri. He's on
Parked
the
out
farm.
right outside.
Yeah, I rode him here. What are you talking about? You didn't see?
What's your horse's name?
So this is funny. His name is Spanky.
Okay.
Here's why.
Sure.
I learned how to ride as a child on his mother, and when he was born, it was right after I had done the Little Rascals movie where I played Spanky. And so they let me name him, and I named him Spanky. Fast forward to 4 years ago, he still lived on the farm, worked on the farm, but was owned by one of the cowboys. The cowboy was wanting to sell him. I asked for if he ever went to go sell him to offer him to me first. And so I actually got to buy him. So now he is officially my horse, even though I named him, over about 13 years ago. So it's really, really funny that
So you were
hindsight
Little
being
Rascals?
that. I was spanking Little
Was that
Rascals.
the
2014 remake. The
Okay, I was
Universal.
like, you weren't
Not
alive
the
for the
1994.
original, right?
That was the
There's no way.
1994 one. That was
Gotcha.
not
Okay,
me.
it was a remake.
Wesley,
Okay. I
can
didn't
we
know
get
it was
on
a
this
remake.
and can we pull this up, Wesley, please?
The 1994 Little Rascals.
Yeah, I was like, I've
were
definitely
like,
seen
They were
that.
like the same age as us, I believe.
Yes.
Like,
So
ish.
it's Little
Yeah.
Rascals Save the Day is my Little Rascals movie. So
Did you
have
watch
to watch
the
it.
original?
Oh, of course.
Got it, right?
I
Yeah.
watched, so in pre-production for that, we actually would sit at lunch. They would order pizza and salad every day for us kids, and as one does. And we
Everybody
would,
just tosses the salad.
I was one of the few kids that loved
You're like,
salad.
Ooh, let's eat the greens.
Yeah. So we would eat that for lunch, and we would watch the black and white Spanky and Our Gang show.
Oh, I didn't
Oh,
know
wow,
about
the
that.
OG.
Yeah, to get to learn our characters. Yeah, so,
So,
they're
Jerry, do you know that the Little Rascals of our generation were not the original
I
ones?
didn't know that. No.
Okay, wait. Yeah, point
So
out when you're one
that's
of them.
me on the right side, right there.
That was you?
That little
That's
kid?
me. That little tiny
You look
child.
very
Two
different.
dogs.
Yeah.
How
Oh,
old
yeah.
were- how
I
old
was,
were you?
I was 7. And then that's, a legendary actress, Doris Roberts, who passed away just a couple years ago. That's me right
That's
there.
you?
That's crazy.
Aw.
Yeah. So
The little
Spanky.
guy. Spanky.
Yep.
Alfalfa. I have
Oh,
an
I remember
important question
Alfalfa,
for you.
yeah.
So recently, I've been middle part curious.
Okay.
So So I have a little bit. I don't.
I was like,
I
he's not
can't.
middle parted.
No, you're not. But
She
I
was
can't.
talking about alfalfa.
Oh.
Alfalfa. I
Gotcha.
can't do I'm not gonna do. I don't want to do a full straight up
No.
middle part align.
Please
But
don't.
like what I'm kind of doing, my hair's going this way and it's going that way.
I'm thinking
a little bit.
I'm thinking what you're doing is rocking.
But here's the thing, my very millennial girlfriend, sorry, fiance,
Future wife.
she thinks
Soon to be
that
wife.
I look like alfalfa when I do the middle part, and she can't handle it, so she fixes it.
Sort of see it, I
So
guess.
I would prefer you didn't, but you can. But I don't.
I don't really
She won't
see
listen
it.
to this.
Yeah.
The question is, so Spanky and Alfalfa are best friends, right?
Yes.
So you have quite the relationship with somebody with the alfalfa middle part.
Yes.
You encountered the real alfalfa.
You know what's funny is
Do I look like alfalfa? I guess is my question.
no.
Thank you.
I don't. You know what's funny?
And that's
Wesley,
your evidence
that,
to win the
Ashley.
argument.
Wesley, can you go to the cast of My Little Rascals and the guy who played Alfalfa, Drew Justice?
What
I
a
don't
name.
think
Great
he's-
name.
I know.
That is an awesome name.
Amazing. The most
your
American
name?
name I've
Drew
ever heard.
Justice.
He's no longer he's not an actor anymore. He goes to Texas A&M. I think he might have just graduated. You might have to actually look him up on like Instagram on people who I follow.
What happened to the Little Rascals that y'all got?
But that's Drew's real hair, and he was a redhead when I knew him. So that picture is dyed. But he was a redhead and had to cut his hair for Little Rascals. And yeah, he's like 20s. I think he has like a girlfriend that he's like about to propose to. Like they've been together for forever and
Spoiler alert to his
Spoiler
girlfriend.
alert to his girlfriend. Sorry.
She does listen to every episode. So.
Yeah, this is true.
She's great friends with Rainn Wilson.
This is an actual statement. Yeah, so Drew's amazing. I keep in touch with him. Awesome. Drew's amazing. He was actually there. I have very few scars over my like body. I've been very well with all my injuries have been internal, like sports, like messed up my knees and stuff.
Like emotional.
Yeah, emotional. I had PTSD from Little Rascals. No, Drew was there the first time I ever got a scar. I was 7 and I fell and sliced my knee open. We were vacationing with our parents over like a long weekend during production, and I sliced my knee open and now have a nasty scar because I didn't get stitches. And
Right, scars
Drew
are
was
cool.
there for that. So that's Drew. He doesn't really have like that middle part in real life.
Right. Very,
So-
For the
very
movie,
few
that's
people
the alfalfa
do.
vibe.
That's the alfalfa. That's the alfalfa vibe, and I like what you're rocking with right here. I think it looks pretty cool.
It's okay.
It because I have very straight hair, like extreme, like I mean like straight
Yeah, it's
straight
fairly
hair.
straight,
This is
But
why I
have
have
you-
to go this short.
Let me ask you: have you ever grown it out?
No.
So
should.
you should try.
You got to go at least once.
I've never.
down to at least
The
here.
longest I had was like 6 months during COVID, and it came down to like here, and I hated it. I grew up like my grandfather was in the army. Like
Yeah.
I grew up military, high and tight, and I love it. I prefer clean cut as far as I go. It works
Yeah.
for me. I like it, but I love when people who like have kind of like a wave, like you guys do. You guys kind of got some waviness in your hair. The
But here's
Well,
the
I
thing.
just cut off
Flow.
like a foot recently.
You just
my
you
hair
do
was
this,
like to
and it
here,
bobs.
But
like
I
in
didn't know.
December.
That's crazy.
I didn't know that I had curly hair until I grew it long.
That's
when
funny.
my hair was short. Like, I don't know if it was ever quite as straight as yours, but if you look at an old picture of me with short hair, it probably would have been very similar.
Interesting.
Because your hair kind of has to get longer for the curls to show.
So that's
you
one-
don't know what's going on.
This
up
is
there.
true. But I've seen both my parents' hair. And genetically, if it's any genetics involved,
It is.
straight hair.
comes from your
Both
mom's
of them.
side.
Both of them straight hair. What's kind of funny,
But
jumping.
straight hair isn't bad. I always wanted straight hair. You could do the Beatles look. I can't do that.
I
can't
could.
do the Beatles.
So
cut.
jumping
But
to
don't.
jumping to like the California thing,
I want it.
I can actually tie that into this.
Yeah.
You don't see many clean cut actors. Like you don't like
It's not the
Tom
style
Cruise,
as much
Tom
anymore.
Cruise maybe, Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds.
Yeah.
They kind of
They're,
have that
they're
short
older actors now. Though.
Yeah. There's not many because I hate it, but people I think when they're hiring for teenage roles, they always
Yeah.
hire older,
Right.
and they think that in order to look like a 16-year-old in high school, I'm
You have
supposed to believe
longer.
that the guy has a full beard and an 8-pack, but he's like you ever watch the show All American on Netflix? I think it's a CW show. It's based on a true story about a real football player, but then it's does what shows do, and like
Yeah.
it's supposed to be a high school team. And I'm like, that guy is 35. There is no way that I would have played against him in high school. No way. So I think they think when you have to look like a teenager. You know, they want the shaggy hair and the shaggy look. And I'm 19, so I'm not like getting hired for 25-year-old roles. I'm getting hired for
Like
high school
13
roles. Exactly. And I know that I look 15 at best. I don't look 19 at all. At all. So I get that. So
when I was 21, people would see my ID and they thought I was 12.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think, unfortunately, if I want to, like, if I'm going to California, if I have auditions and stuff, I don't cut my hair for a couple months. If I have roles that are, like, I just got a haircut today. But if I don't, like, if I have an audition that I just did and it films in 6 months, and
You're gonna be a little scraggly.
Yeah. I'm not going to
And
cut
you're
my
like,
hair.
y'all decide.
Interesting.
I'm not going to cut my
Yeah.
hair because they can always cut. What I've found with casting directors and producers and directors a lot of times is they're not creative at imagining you in a different context a lot of times. And I'm
They're
sure
just
people are,
seeing you what you are now.
yes, I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree with that. From my personal experience,
Yeah.
it's been a lot of, well, we just can't imagine him with long hair. Well, we
Yeah.
can't imagine him dressed like this. We can't imagine him dressed like that. We can't imagine him talking with this kind of accent.
And you're like, really? 'Cause that's your one job
like-
is to imagine that shit.
My job as an actor is to do that.
Yeah, right.
So I think when it comes down to like the hair sort of thing, I'll grow it longer as long as I can. But literally, I've done it before. The last time I got a haircut, before today, a month or two ago, I get a haircut like every 3 or 4 weeks, literally.
I got to hear it once a year.
That's so
It's only when I fly home and I have my sister do
That's
it.
hilarious. So literally, I had an audition that we had kind of heard about. They were like, no, we're thinking we're going to have him for like a producer session next week or something like that. And then it got to the day that I was supposed to hear about it. Got to the day after. And I told my mother and my agent, I was like, look, guys, I'm going to go get my haircut. And they were like, well, just wait until this afternoon. We might hear something. We never did. And I went and got my haircut. And they never ended up contacting us. But if they had, I mean, it's not, you guys notoriously, as the entertainment industry is late. If you had reached out late, I mean, imagine me with longer hair. You film in 3 months. I can just grow my hair out for 3 months.
Right,
My
right.
hair grows ridiculously fast.
Like, I can probably show you a picture. Is that how?
yeah,
Like,
my hair grows ridiculously fast,
Which
so it's
straight
not
hair
a problem.
Makes sense.
Yes, and it's not a problem as far as having to have longer hair, which is nice for being cast for things that it's like short notice. You have to look slightly different.
mm-hmm.
So I wish my facial hair grew that fast as the hair on my head, but it is what it is.
Give it a minute.
I like clean shaven. I shave every day.
Yeah.
I haven't shaved in a decade. Legitimately, like a decade.
I would love to see you with no beard and see what that.
It's weird.
No one
beautiful
knows.
Every
face
time I
looks
see a
like.
picture of me without a beard, because when I first started dating my wife, I didn't have a beard, and I see
That's
a picture
funny.
and I'm just like, absolutely not, never doing that again.
I have a friend that I've known he's known me since I was like 11, and when I met him, he had a beard. And then I didn't see him for like 6 months.
Wait, when he was 11?
No. He knew me when I was 11.
Okay.
He was older. He's in his
Gotcha.
20s. He was the brother of another Disney actor, and so the older brother. And so when I met him, beard. He did have a beard when I met him. He was this like buff guy, played like college baseball, like looked the part. Kind of looked like the Bryce Harper vibe. I don't know if you guys know who Bryce Harper is.
Not a clue.
I'm a sports guy, so Wesley, can you pull up a picture of Bryce
Yeah,
Harper?
I know zero.
Plays
about
for the
sports.
Nationals. I think he still plays for the Nationals. No, plays for Philly. I don't remember. Anyways,
Classic Bryce Harper. Always
honestly,
changing teams.
yeah. So, yeah, Philly. Did he play for Philly? I think. Yeah. So he kind of looked like him, and he knew Bryce Harper. So he kind of looked
Okay,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like that all-American baseball kind of
Yeah,
player.
very classic baseball player look.
I don't see him for 6 months. I walk into their business, and this guy comes walking out, and I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" He's like, "Yo, what's up, Jet?" And I was like, I didn't recognize him. I genuinely did not know him. And I had known him for a long time at that point because I had seen him 37 times with a beard. And then all of a sudden, he just completely shaved.
Yeah.
And his mom's standing next to me. She's like, Jet, this is Dylan. And I was like, that's not Dylan. Dylan looks like a grown man. This dude looks a year older than me. And I was like 12 at that point.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right. And then I proceeded to put his facial features together. But it's crazy how different people look with
Yeah.
facial hair, with long hair, things like. So I would love to see you with no beard.
Bro,
That would be so
I couldn't even imagine it anymore. Like, it's
funny. Do you think
been so long.
you would ever shave?
No, I think every once in a while, my wife's like, maybe try shaving. And I'm just like, no. You
That's
know what you got into.
So funny. That's hilarious. And it's strange how that plays such a big part into the entertainment industry. I think it does less with music. People more so, I think, care about the music, or I think just genuinely don't give a crap anymore. Like my generation,
Less and less. I feel like
I
people
don't
care.
I don't judge whether I'm gonna like an artist based off whether or not they have a beard or how they dress. I judge them based off the music.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
as far as acting goes, it makes sense. But at the same time, I wish
Yeah.
it was more so with my personal experience, again, so people don't think, well, I've never had this happen. With my personal experience, I wish it was more so of the imagine me with longer hair. All right, guys?
Right.
I can grow my hair out.
Put a wig.
You put in your email sending this is projected to film. You hire me, 6-8 months out. If you put me in a producer session next week, I just won't grow my hair or I will grow my
Right,
hair.
the
I
whole
won't
time.
get a haircut until we film. If you want me to have longer hair, it's not hard to do, guys.
Well, so I'll say, I don't want to get political, but
Sounds like you're about to get political.
no, I'm not. I'm going to be
Nobody ever says I don't want to get
I don't want to
political.
get political, but
I'm gonna be-
hey, what do you think about cereal?
I'm going to
Don't take this the wrong way, but
This is politically adjacent, but
No offense, but
so there's a lot of things that are happening in the world with our current culture that I disagree with,
There
and a
are.
lot that I agree with. this is the we're getting political vibe.
here we go.
And there's a lot with like
Buckle in.
a lot of things, specifically with like.
can
what?
you guys still hear?
Yeah.
No? Yes?
My headphones went away.
Oh, weird.
What did I do?
I don't know.
Oh, you
It's a
just
solo button.
you just. Oh, gotcha. Where
The solo button is a picture of an ear. This roadcaster
Yeah.
is not professional.
Yep.
It's a terrible instrument. It's
Which
not
is
a real professional
Which is funny
device.
because it's actually called the Roadcaster Pro, so
Yeah.
it is actually professional.
Oh, wow,
not
yeah.
professional.
So what were you guys?
I said to myself, not professional.
but so there's a lot of things going on like with specifically like woke culture that there's some stuff I really like and I agree with and some stuff I don't, but one big benefit that has come out of it is the big push to not expect everyone to look the same.
Yes.
You don't there's a big push to like if you don't look like the classic movie star, that's okay now.
Yep.
And I'm like, you know what? That is okay. Like, why are we so
100%.
concerned about this?
I genuinely, when I said that the three most important things to me were my faith, family, and my freedom, I am a maximum freedom for every person. I don't
Yeah.
think you should have somebody telling you what to do.
Yeah,
This is
as long as you're not
America,
hurting
land of the
somebody
free.
else,
Yes.
do whatever you want.
There are men and women that have paid the ultimate sacrifice so that I can be a musician for a job. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. And there's very few other places in the world where I can do that so freely.
Yeah.
So I'm a maximum freedom kind of person. If I don't care how somebody wants to dress, I judge people based off of character and morals. I judge people based off of how they judge other people. Character prevails, like your tattoo says.
Pool family
That's-
motto, baby.
There you go.
it's
That's
just
how I
don't be a
judge
dick.
people. I genuinely, a lot of times I don't care who people vote for. Honestly, a lot of times you choose who you vote for based off of what you believe in your morals. So yeah,
Right.
naturally that'll play an effect on it. But I'm not going to solely judge you based off of whether you voted Republican or Democrat. I don't care.
No, especially because your vote doesn't even matter anyway.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm like, guys,
Welcome to being an adult. What
Yeah.
you did today was a waste of time.
yeah, let's go.
No,
Yeah,
I
so-
feel like if everybody thought that, then it doesn't work.
Yeah, I know. I
yeah.
am pro voting to
Yeah.
throw it
So-
out there.
So while
But also
yeah.
your vote doesn't actually count.
So while I don't like a lot of woke culture and the whole cancel culture thing, I do agree with the
There's some benefits out of that.
absolutely. Well, there's benefits out of everything, and there's benefits out of looking at every aspect because there are two sides to every story. Majority of the time,
Wesley,
there's
get my hat out of the closet.
Do you
Oh,
have a
God.
no way? Do you have a hat that says two sides to every story?
It
Pretty
literally
close.
That's really funny.
It says two sides to everything. Real quick, shout out to Gabrielle Grace, friend of the show.
There we go.
Former guest of the show. She put out an album called Two Sides of Everything.
That's so funny.
And so we
yeah, so
literally have
I
a
think
hat.
I think that's where I love like maximum freedom for everybody, and I really. Like I said, I judge an artist based off of their music. I judge an actor based off their acting. I could care less what you do outside of that, genuinely.
Yeah.
As long as you're not hurting other people and purposefully trying to
Do whatever you want.
hurt other people or offend other people or go out there just to try to start something, then
Right. That's just called being a dick.
yeah. As
don't
long as
do
you're
that.
not being rude for no reason, then I really
Yeah.
don't care.
Right.
It's not a problem. Oh, Wesley's
Is
here
this
with
the
it.
Oh, he
right
did
hat?
find the hat.
Thank you.
Oh, he tossed the hat. What's it say?
Two
Two
sides.
sides. Look at that.
To
It does say
everything.
two sides to
Wait,
everything.
how did we wear this
Gabrielle
on the show?
Grace.
I guess you put it on first.
Wow.
Yeah, you put it on.
He's
and,
smart, guys.
Wow, you did it.
There you go.
What a champion.
Oh,
Man
yeah.
amongst men.
We're now representing Gabby.
I need
Gabby,
to get
by
some
the
Jet
way,
Jurgensmeyer hats.
Gabby,
give you all one.
Yeah, do you
I-
not have hats?
You got
I
hat.
don't.
You
Which
got
is funny. I have
hats.
T-shirts, but see, I'm a hat wearer. I wear hats. Literally, I was wearing a hat if I'm not working, I'm in a hat. I have in my dorm room alone 12 hats. 12
That's
different
a
hats.
significant amount of hats.
And I have probably 50 hanging up in my closet at home.
See, I don't think I had ever worn a hat.
I love
except for when I
hats.
played golf. I wore a hat a couple times, but before that, besides that, I'd never wore a hat until one day I was at a convention and I was like, I'm gonna buy a hat. So I put a hat on. I took a picture. I put it on Instagram. I said, "Am I a hat the kind of guy who wears a hat?" And I had like one person be like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "I'm a hat guy now."
There you go.
And now I have like 50 hats. Like,
They're amazing.
Now I wear hats all the time.
You know what? I
There's
think
just
I
one guy was like,
deduced.
absolutely.
I think I deduced why I'm a hat guy. So I, grew up when I was young, acting and things like that all the time. To where and going to events, when you're in LA, there's always events to go to, and it's always like fix your hair, comb your hair, look put together.
Yeah,
because
presentable.
Yeah. Now, luckily,
the
we're
short hair helps with.
Yes. Now we're like we were just talking about. We're out of that phase. People walk around wearing whatever
you
to
want.
events or nothing to events, essentially. So I grew up always having to fix my hair, and I think when I became a teenager that was not always at events, I was like, oh man, I can just put a hat on it and not have to worry about what my hair looks like when I leave the house.
There you go.
Which
Yeah.
is great. Also, I just said this yesterday. It's so nice always wearing jeans and boots. I wear jeans and boots just about every day of the year, literally. It's so nice knowing what half of your wardrobe is going to be for the next day and only having to worry about what t-shirt and what hat you put on. Literally, it saves so much time. Cuz I'm sure you guys know, you all have significant others. They take a long time to figure out what your future wife, I'm sure, takes a long time figuring out what she's going to wear when she leaves the house.
Yeah.
My
I
girlfriend,
don't know yet.
My girlfriend tries on 8 different outfits and then goes back to the original one every single time. But she's still got to try on 8 before she leaves. So I'm always like, I just want to get out the door. So
Yeah.
it's so nice just knowing what I'm going to wear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can be ready
before
to
I
walk
even
out the
leave.
door in about 30 seconds.
Absolutely.
I'm like, keys, wallet, phone, pocket knife.
I literally have.
Do you always have a pocket knife?
Like 90% of the time.
That's good to know.
Weirdly, I don't have one right now, but normally I do.
Hey, we got pocket knives.
I'm a knife collector. I have a very large knife collection. But I always have a knife on me. Literally, wallet, knife. My keys are in my parents' car, which is ironic. So they're in there. And I always have guitar picks in my pocket. I have a little guitar pick holder that was given to me by a very good friend of mine that works over at Gibson. So he gave me a Gibson guitar pick holder. I love leather, so he gave me a leather guitar pick holder. And then I always have a handkerchief in my back pocket. Literally, always.
A handkerchief. Because okay, all those other ones make sense, but a handkerchief.
So handkerchief, I always had
Is
because
that
of the
for
farm.
like helping a lady?
Always
when
have
she
because
got
of the
Right.
clothes? Yeah.
I've had it for various things. So like if you're checking the oil of your car, wipe off the dipstick, put it back in there. Got a handkerchief. Plenty of
But
times.
then you gotta wash it
Plenty of time. I have like
or throw
12.
it away.
I have like 12. I have a bunch of handkerchiefs.
That's a lot of handkerchiefs
Yes.
to have.
Yes.
I don't think I.
I
have any.
mean,
I have
I've
zero
had to
handkerchiefs.
use them. If you go to like a restroom somewhere at a restaurant, and they don't have paper towels or anything like that.
I got
Handkerchief.
jeans.
But then you got like the wet handprint. They're like, what were you doing
Oh
in the
yeah,
bathroom?
I'm over 30. I don't care about that anymore.
Okay.
I'm over that.
So
It's
I got the
fine.
handkerchief. If I'm eating somewhere, I got a napkin in my pocket. There have been times my friends have cut their hands and stuff like that. I got you. Keep it. I got more at home. It's fun. Like I gave my girlfriend one of my handkerchiefs as like, this is something that is special to me. I'm giving it to you. She's like, oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
Do you get them
Oh my
embroidered with
goodness.
your initials?
No. No, I'm not that weird. Gosh, I'm not
JJ.
British. My initials are actually JJJ.
What?
What's the
What's the
middle?
middle?
So Jet is my middle name. My first name
Oh,
is Joseph.
You liar.
No. There's
Joseph,
a reason.
I've been calling you Jet.
So here's the reason. I have a reason, guys. Guys, free speech. I have
my
a reason.
My middle name's Wesley. So
No,
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. You're also
His
a liar.
real name?
Get him!
Guess his real name. Guess it. You fucking never will. It's Oren.
no way. That's a color. All right, that is a color.
Oren to Southern people, yes.
That's a color right there. That is not. What's your name, Orn? No, that's so funny. That's wild. No, so my first name's Joseph. It's a family name. So my grandfather's Joseph, great-grandfather, my dad's Joseph. My dad and I both go by our middle names because my grandfather's the one that goes by Joe. So it'd be real confusing if somebody said, "Hey, Joe," and all three of us turned around. Which it already is confusing enough when I travel with my dad because airlines cannot figure out why in the world there is two Joseph Jurgensmeyers on the flight because my license says Joseph Jurgensmeyer.
Right.
Interesting.
So
yeah, your dad introduced, or your mom actually introduced your dad to me
Scott.
as Scott.
Yeah,
but
we both go by our middle names.
His name's Joseph
Scott Jurgensmeyer. I'm Joseph Jet Jurgensmeyer.
Interesting.
So for some reason, like airlines just forget to read the middle initial. They just don't care.
Yeah.
So when they see there's two names, they've done it before where my dad's boarded before my mom and I go to scan my plane ticket and they're like, "Well, you're already on the plane."
Like, clearly I'm not.
And I'm like, "Right, because that's why I'm standing here in front of you scanning my boarding pass." And they're like, "Oh, we scanned your dad and then saw there was another Joseph Jurgensmeyer, so just took that one off."
They're like, why would you do that?
I'm like,
People sometimes have same
Guys,
names. It's not that uncommon.
what if he bought two tickets?
Right.
Also, what do you mean, guys?
He wanted that middle seat all to
Come
himself.
on. So yeah, so that's happened. But so Joseph's a family name, so I'm like the 7th or 8th. So like, if the Lord blesses me with a son, which I hope He does, his first name will be Joseph.
See, but here's the thing: because you don't have the middle name, because it's a different middle, you can't add suffixes.
Yeah, so
it can't be junior, third.
Yeah, so that's why I'm not like Joseph Jet
Challenging.
Jurgensmeyer, the 8th.
Right, I'm
just
fourth.
the 7th or 8th line of Joseph having a Joseph having a Joseph.
See,
Now,
me
I
and my
think-
dad share exact same names.
That's cool.
I'm the 4th. So
Jury's such a cool name.
Jury Obi Bird the 4th. We have no normal names
Your last name is Bird?
with a Y.
Yeah.
And my dad
That's
is the
Byard.
3rd.
That's so cool.
And his dad was junior, and his dad was senior.
Are you good at basketball?
No.
Oh.
Just
I played basketball like one time in like junior high.
I'm like, look at this guy.
Yeah,
You look like
not-
be good at basketball. Real
Hey,
tall.
he might
I was pretty good at
ball
golf.
out in those flip-flops. You don't know.
Yeah, I only put on shoes at weddings and funerals. Like,
Oh.
I don't.
I'm a flip-flop. Wow. Whoa. What?
Flip flop aficionado.
Flip-flop guy.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say I like flip because I do jujitsu. I train jujitsu. I love martial arts, UFC, MMA. So I train jujitsu, and a lot of times, I wear like
Oh,
Adidas slides.
ChatGPT
or-
told me you were a purple belt.
I'm a purple belt in Kempo karate, but I
Okay.
also train Brazilian jiu-jitsu,
It did
which
say
is really
Kempo
funny.
karate, and
Yeah.
then I was like, oh, maybe it's both.
Yeah, so I
you
haven't
told
done
the
karate
internet
in a
that?
while.
Gotcha.
I started training jiu-jitsu last year. Did my first competition in December.
Very
Did
cool.
terrible, but it was a lot of fun. Got third in both of my divisions. It was great. It's a great
Yeah.
time. But because of that, you always wear slides or flip-flops around
Mm-hmm.
the gym because you got to take them off before you go out on the mat. You don't want to walk around the gym barefoot.
Yeah.
Disgusting. So I started wearing flip-flops. They're so nice.
It's better in every way.
It's literally awesome. Honestly, cowboy boots are the Southern man's flip-flop because we just slip them on.
Problem is, they're foot prisons.
However, there have been plenty of times, especially today, like a rainy day, where I've walked outside and I've stepped in puddles and my feet haven't gotten wet.
Oh, but here's the
which
thing.
is
That's
so
why
nice.
flip flops are so good for the rain, because they won't absorb
You
anything.
want your feet to get
They don't
wet.
absorb anything.
Yeah, but then
They
your
just
foot's wet all day.
But your foot, the water just rolls right off.
Now
Your
what-
skin doesn't absorb it.
What
It just
flip-flops do you
rolls
wear?
off.
Oh, what is the brand that I wear?
Is it rainbows?
No.
That's the only ones worth buying.
I do a Reef. I have a pair of
Oh
Reefs.
yeah, that's the alternative.
They're also very comfortable. They're
Yeah.
extreme.
Yeah.
I never took off the Squeeze Me sticker from the store to the feel how comfortable. So it still has the Squeeze Me sticker like rubbed permanently into the fabric now,
Yeah.
which I think is so funny. I just think that's like my personality. It's just hilarious. But I love flip-flops. They're great. I don't know how we got on that topic.
Your
I don't know.
personality's all about rubbing stickers into shoes.
Yes,
All about it.
absolutely.
I want to change the flow for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
so
get some
sorry.
I was gonna say we should probably do another song
That's cool.
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. After this flow,
I'm so like we haven't talked about like career at all. We've just been talking about AI and shoes.
Yeah. Shoes.
But you know what? I don't mind. This has been fun.
Yeah.
That's what we're about.
I'm enjoying myself.
Okay.
Yes.
So here's my
Maybe.
my line of questioning.
Yes.
Okay. So I thought about literally starting the show with this.
Okay.
And then you're just a mile-a-minute talker.
Great.
You're off to
I'm
the
sorry.
races. No,
No,
it's
it's
great.
great.
It's been
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Okay.
But I was like, okay, no, I'm just gonna go with whatever the hell happens, and so we
Great.
have, and it's been great. But so I thought this would be a fun place to start.
Okay, let's do it.
So this is where I'm not ending, but as we approach the end.
Yes.
Okay, so all right, when I was 5
Yeah, wow.
or so, there was a movie made called Dennis the Menace. Have you heard of it?
Of course, I've seen it.
So was it Macaulay Culkin? Wesley, maybe fact check that.
I don't think
No,
so.
it wasn't Macaulay Culkin. I can't think of the dude's name. He had brown hair.
Wasn't it the same kid that did Richie Rich?
That was Macaulay
Richie
Culkin.
Rich was Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Look up who did.
Oh, Dennis the Menace didn't have brown
Dennis
hair.
the
He
Menace.
was blonde.
He's blonde, but in
Yeah.
either case, I was a little blonde kid.
Mm-hmm.
So I was the age that the '90s Dennis the Menace was,
Gotcha.
and so my mom had me do a VHS tape audition. Mason Gamble.
Yeah. No
Yep.
idea.
So my mom did a VHS audition. Apparently they had some sort of open casting call, or my mom made that up. Who knows? And so she filmed me. I don't even remember what happened. And she sent it in like, oh, I'm sending this in for you to be, Dennis the Menace. Didn't happen.
Clearly.
But growing up in San Diego, you're very close to LA.
Oh, yeah.
And me and my sister both, his wife, we both like thought being a child actor would be awesome. We thought it'd be
Oh, yeah.
great. It'd be like that's what we wanted. So that was something we were very interested in for a minute, but it never happened. We did school. There's those I don't know if you ever encountered these, but there's like companies that reach out and like, do you want your kid to be an actor?
Oh, yeah.
Come and pay money and we'll
Oh,
take
yeah.
pictures of them.
'Cause that
And
makes
They're
sense.
an actor now. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we're like, Mom, Dad, please let us do it. And they were like, we're not spending $1,500 on headshots.
Yeah.
So never happened. Flash forward when I was 18, so just slightly younger than you. There was I saw on Craigslist. Have you heard of Craigslist?
I have.
Yeah,
It's
pre-Facebook Marketplace.
Is it still around?
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Okay.
It just
Yeah.
sucks now.
Yeah.
It used to be the place. to
Everybody
buy
knows
things.
Craigslist.
It was the place
Yeah,
to buy.
Of course.
Craig's the man. So there was an open casting call, and it was from Nickelodeon, and it was in LA, 2 hours away.
Amazing.
And it was they said, we're doing a new show about a boy band, and we're looking for the lead singer. So so I applied, and they're like, okay, great, you can come, just prepare 16 bars of an up-tempo pop rock song. And I was like, cool. And I was like, this will be an experience. Now I wasn't really at this stage in life. I was actually working at a church, and I was working with youth ministry. And I was like, I'm not trying to be an actor, but how cool would that be if it worked? But I'm just going to do it for fun and for the memories and for the experience.
Yeah, see what happens.
Yeah, see
Roll
what
with it.
happens. Like, why not?
Yeah.
That's a life experience that'd be fun to, like, tell your kids about one day, right?
Yeah.
So I went up, and there's a song called Stop and Stare by One Republic. And so,
Okay.
do you know
I
One
love
Republic?
One Republic.
Yeah.
Ryan Tedder is one of my favorite people of all time.
So this is, like, from their first big album.
Gotcha.
And so it's called Stop and Stare. And so
Is this why you always sing this in karaoke?
100%. So I picked that song, and I went up to LA, and it was just me by myself in a room of a bunch of other guys like in my age range that all look like they know what they're doing. So I'm sure you've been to a lot of casting calls.
Of course.
That was my first and only. And so I showed up, and I was like, well, there's a lot of other guys here who seem real serious about this.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just having a fun time.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, okay. And I just like hang out, and I'm like, wow. And so anyway, they call me up, and you go to a table, and there's like
Yup.
4, 5, 6 people standing there, and they're like, okay, would you like to sing your song? And I'm like, this town is cold now. And I did my song.
Yep.
And they're like, cool, thank you. We'll blah blah blah. On your way.
Yep.
And I was like, on my way. Anyway, that I did not get the part. The show went on to be called. It was called Big Time Rush.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Of course.
So I was auditioning to be the character's name Kendall.
yeah.
So I was auditioning to be
That's so funny.
that guy.
God, what a show.
I was not that guy.
That's so
I
wild.
neither now nor then had a 6-pack, although I think I was like a little in a
Yeah.
slightly better shape at the time. But then I was like, oh, Big Time Rush, this is what I auditioned for. And then they like kind of went on to like, I think they had a moment where they were trying to be like a Jonas Brothers kind of a situation.
Yes.
And they like
Yeah.
toured and
Yep.
played stadiums and all sorts of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I'd always thought it was fun after that. I was like, I tried out for that. That was cool. So it was a fun
yeah.
experience.
Absolutely.
So coming back to you here. So when I was younger, I thought that to go be a child actor, to like go, or even at that time, young adult actor, would be like the coolest thing. It would be so fun. It'd be fun to entertain people. and it would be awesome. Like, there's money, there's fame, and like that's gotta be like the coolest thing that there is. And so, anyway, so when we booked you on the show, I'm like, okay, let me learn more about this Jet character. You know, he's a musician, but what else does he do? And so one of the first things I see is like you on like doing like Radio Disney on YouTube. And by the way, I think you were probably like 13, 14.
Probably.
But you seem like 7 or 8.
Yep, because I look like a toddler.
Yeah, and you're like,
oh yeah.
hi.
Hi, I'm Jet.
How's it going, guys? My favorite song is...
Would you imagine that I'm a freshman in high school? This sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just like such like a
Toddler.
positive
But
kid.
energetic kid. Yeah.
Energetic kid. And I was like, oh, this guy is like what I wanted to be when I was a kid.
What's really funny...
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you continue, actually. Hold on. I'll let you finish.
Actually, whatever you're about to say next is probably what I want. But basically, like my intro question was going to be like, so tell me, it's like alternate universe. We both got, you know, we both have a Montana interest, cattle families.
Yeah.
Fishing, hunting. There's a lot of similarities. Hell, we both like vans.
Yeah.
But when I auditioned for Dennis the Menace, I didn't get it. And when you auditioned, what was your first role?
Oh, my Lord. I was in a Christmas Seals commercial, like stamps, here in Nashville, like a stamps commercial.
And when you auditioned for the stamps, it worked.
Yeah.
And like it's almost like lives went in different trajectories at that point, and everything else changes.
But now here we are.
And here we are. And so my question is like alternate universe me where it worked and you get the audition. What's it like? Does it make you happy? Like, is that the coolest thing ever?
How was the experience?
How was it? Yeah. Like, what do I wish I had? Or like, yeah.
So I think everything that you just said that comes with it is very accurate, and all of it really does. Everything that you mentioned, and it has been amazing. And I started doing it because I loved the idea of entertaining people, and I didn't even know what that was for, but I knew I had fun doing it. And I had parents that were going to support me in whatever it was I wanted to do. And if I said I wanted to do this, well, then they're going to put their whole hearts into it, as long as I put my whole heart into it. And that's what I try to do as much as I can. And it's been a lot of fun. I think the biggest thing people expect going in or don't expect is hearing the word no. You're going to hear, like, people ask me what advice would I give to young actors or people that want to be actors or artists. You're going to hear no a hell of a lot more than you hear the word yes. I mean, no is going to... I've gone on thousands of auditions, and you can see on IMDb what I've been in, and you can Google everything I've been in.
It's not thousands.
It's not thousands. I'm not Morgan Freeman. I'm not... Yeah.
Yes.
So Where is it? Where is it? Play it.
Titty sprinkles.
Okay. so I'm not. I haven't been in thousands of things. So I've heard no a lot, and I've heard no over things that I have wanted so badly. I've been fortunate enough to get roles that I've wanted really badly, but there have been so many shows and movies that I've just, died to be a part of. I would give up my left arm to be a part of, and I've been told no, you weren't right. And to hear, they typically say he's just not right for it. And to hear those words, sometimes they'll go into detail, but to just hear we just went in a different direction. To not know what I could have done differently.
Which doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
Like it's
it
just
really
saying
doesn't.
no.
It's just saying no. You just
Right.
don't have the balls to just say, no, we're not interested.
You need to say something.
Yeah.
I like you. You have balls.
There we go.
You're just saying keywords that we have buttons for. I can't help it.
So but I'm the kind of I'm a very straightforward person. I'm going to tell it like it is. I'm going to be brutally honest. And so I would prefer if people were just honest about what they didn't like so that I can work on it. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Because how else am I supposed to get better and grow if I don't know what I did wrong? Or what I could have done differently.
But a lot of artistic people are like, they want to feel it. They're like, he walked into the room and I knew that this was Willy Wonka.
Exactly. And I've had that happen before, where people have been like, oh, we could tell that you were going to be this guy. Apparently, what I've heard from the producers and director of Little Rascals, that's what happened when I got cast for Spanky. I auditioned for two other characters on Little Rascals.
Oh, wow.
I auditioned for Waldo, and I auditioned for Porky, I believe. And then I auditioned for Spanky. They had me come in for 3 different characters. They knew they wanted me in the film. They didn't know what role they wanted me to be in the film. Which is one of those cool moments where it's like, okay, something was right. I don't know what, but a terrible saying, but it works. It's better to be lucky than good. And I just happened to be lucky when I walked in that room that they liked me, I guess. I couldn't even tell you what I did. For whatever reason. For whatever reason it was. It was the short hair. That's what it was.
That's what it was.
I couldn't even tell you. So I think the biggest thing is to know that everybody's journey is different. You didn't get Dennis the Menace. I got Little Rascals. But now we're still here sitting in this same room, and we've both had really extremely different, but I imagine entertaining, fun. Exactly. I imagine.
And isn't that what it's all about at the end of the day?
And I imagine we both have you've loved your journey, even
no, it was
even
terrible.
Even though there's been times, but there have. I know because everybody's the same. Essentially, we've all had times in our life where it's like, this sucks.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you wouldn't have it any other way because it made you who you are, and people love who you are. I mean, that's how I look at it.
I would have
it
other ways. I'd have it ways with a lot more money.
This is also true. This is also true. But this is also due to the economy as well. Stock market, stuff like that. You got to hack into that stuff with your coding knowledge. Ooh. Can you just hack me a few bills in my bank account?
So you're at Belmont.
Yes, sir.
A university that has a wide swath of people. And I know, like, you work there, so I've heard certain stories. Like, there's kids that go to Belmont that are, like, children of major celebrities.
Oh,
There's kids
I know
that
them.
are
Those
celebrities.
kids usually suck. Let me tell you. I know they're your friends, but let me tell you, as someone who worked there as an adult,
I know.
bro, they come into the financial aid office. I'm like, you ain't getting shit. Like, you have so much. Why are you asking me for money?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
And they were the ones who were always there every week.
I think the worst thing, the people that I try to be close with are the people that are genuine about their upbringing. I'm not going to try to sit here and pretend like I had it hard. I didn't know where my next meal was coming from. My parents were both very successful. My whole family's been very successful, and I'm not going to shy away from that. I'm proud of them for their success.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because I'm very proud of them for that.
Yeah.
But I think that, honestly, for me, that motivates me to work harder to prove to people that what I have, I've earned. I have earned through my work. And I think it's all about mentality and work ethic. I'm a very like mental toughness person. Like, we were talking about that with like podcasts and audiobooks I listen to and things like that. Like, I love working on mental toughness and being a mentally tough person.
We will be testing you with our last question.
Oh, God.
We'll test that mental toughness.
I'm really worried about this now because I don't know what that means. But I love that. And so I think that makes my mentality mean I want to work harder. And every time that I hear the words no, or every time that I screw up on stage, majority of the time if I've screwed up on stage, it's because I didn't practice well enough. And I didn't run over that song as much as I should have. I didn't go over that one part that I know has been screwing me up. But I was like, I'll be fine when I get up there. And I still flubbed it while I was on stage and made a fool out of myself over that one short period of time. But I'm never going to forget that. And I'm going to look at it and say, I never want that to happen again. I'm going to be a professional. I'm going to always get my work done. And I think that's the hardest thing that people forget about when they try to get into really any industry, but for this purpose, I'll say the entertainment industry, is thinking that it's going to just blow up right off the bat. And I have by no means blown up. I have been successful in my own fields, but I've by no means blown up. I'm not a world-renowned name, but I've also been doing it. I've been on stage since I was 3, and I've been acting since I was 4. I've been a member of SAG-AFTRA since I was 5. And last year in September, I ran and was elected to the Screen Actors Guild Board of Directors for the office here in Nashville. I'm the youngest board member. So I've worked.
I pass that office like every day.
Fair,
It's right down the street.
So
I feel like you were probably a member of SAG at the time. I don't think it was SAG-AFTRA yet.
This is true. It was SAG and then AFTRA. Now it's SAG-AFTRA.
Sorry, I'm literally arguing semantics for no reason.
No, it's funny because it's very true. So I'm the youngest board member, and I had to run. I had to apply and get elected. And I was elected to that board of directors based off of my credits. And it's because
I didn't even know about the vote.
You know what?
I was never invited.
I'm so sorry. I will call you next time and I'll be like, hey, I need that extra vote. In this case, his vote matters. It mattered. Trust me. So I think that if people want to get into this industry, they have to be willing to hear no and have those lows, because the lows make the highs feel so much better. And the highs are very few and far between, but when they happen, it's like golf. and people that don't play golf aren't going to get this, but if you play golf, you hate it 98% of the time. And then you have that one chip that lands 2 feet from the hole onto the green. Or you have that one 8-foot-long putt that just drops right in there and you get birdie. And you go, oh, I love golf. This is, but 2 holes ago, you're wanting to throw your driver out into the pond. That's what the entertainment is. It's going to keep pulling you and pushing you away. But you have to stick with it and be willing to know that God's got you and that your journey is going to be different from every other person. And the worst thing that you can do is compare yourself to other people. You can't compare yourself and say, well, they've been doing it just as long as me, or they've been doing it in less time than me, and they're this successful, or they have this many followers, they got this record deal, they were on this movie and worked on this TV show. You can't do that, because that's the second that it starts pulling your heart away from it. And if your heart's not in it 100%.
Now, have you gone through that?
Oh, absolutely.
Have you, because, I mean, being in LA, I would just, if I'm guessing, just being in Nashville, if I'm guessing, you have had a friend or known somebody somewhat well, and that person did something that went bigger and better than something else you had done.
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure you've experienced the pain side of that.
And
you've experienced the comparing yourself, and it sucked.
Absolutely. And it's going to bring a little bit, and I'm like ashamed to say it, but it's natural, that brings some of your ego out, where it's like, I'm more talented than that person. I can do that better than that person. And everybody does that for every field. So I give myself grace for thinking that. But I have thought that before, and I'm not proud of that, but I have. Where it's like, why did this song blow up? I sound so much better singing this song rather than them singing that song. Or I definitely could do these scenes better than this guy that got cast for this movie. Like, that's just stupid. And so you go through those phases of like resentment and anger, and then it really, for me, I get through it with my family and my friends and my faith. They help me kind of remind me of what's important, because I think everybody has different reasons for doing whatever it is they're doing with their lives. Some people might want to be an entertainer to have millions and millions of followers on Instagram. Some people might want to do it to make millions and millions of dollars. Some people might want to do it just because they enjoy doing it. And so I think everybody defines success differently. And I will do whatever to provide for my future family that God blesses me with. So I don't care what career field I'm in. But right now, I know that the Lord's blessed me with being in the career that I absolutely adore, and I wouldn't want to be doing anything else than being an entertainer. And so I'm going to cherish it, because it could be over tomorrow just like that. And so everybody's journey is different. My journey is going to be different from the next 19-year-old that shows up on this podcast, or the next 19-year-old that walks in the door at Belmont, and is a music business with an emphasis in legal studies major, that's a musician and an actor. My journey is going to be different than his. We might be doing the same thing, but in 20 years, we're going to be in different places.
Yeah. Well,
I know that was a really long answer. I'm sorry.
No, it's good.
That
It's
was
good.
everything
solid
I
stuff.
wanted. Yeah.
Well, we should probably, we're a little past time for it, but we should definitely play another song.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
What's the next song we're hearing?
So this next song is called Roots. It's off of my next album, which I'm really excited for. It was actually kind of a toss-up between Roots and Good Days being the next single. And we ultimately decided on Good Days. So Roots is one of my favorite songs. I wrote it with my friend Eric Olatza, and I hope everybody enjoys it.
These roots have held me down. This ground ain't ever seen the likes of you. And your wayward winds ripped them up the night that it tore through. These roots, these stones in your riverbed ain't lost their edge. They got me to the bone. When your waters rose, now drowning here's the only thing I know. With these stones, now the river's rolling like you rode in, right on past the warning signs. Don't I know it, 'cause I'm broken, floating underneath the pines, till the day the flame runs dry. These hands tried holding on, but they can't keep a heart already gone. It was never meant to hurt like this. Don't know where it went wrong. And now the river's rolling like you rode in, right on past the warning signs. Don't I know it, 'cause I'm broken, floating underneath the ponds, till the day the Flint runs dry. The day the Flint runs dry. And now the river's rolling like you rode in, right on past the warning signs. Don't I know it, 'cause I'm broken, floating underneath the ponds. The river's rolling like you rode in, right on past the warning signs. Don't I know it, 'cause I'm broken, floating underneath the ponds, till the day the Flint runs dry. These roots have held me down, this ground ain't ever seen the likes of you. In your wayward winds ripped them up the night that it tore through.
And we're back.
Look at that.
Awesome. So, okay, tell us about that song.
Amazing. So that song I wrote with Erica Latza, who's one of my really, really close friends. Y'all should have her on the podcast. You'd love her. She's amazing. So she and I were sitting down to write, and I've been listening to a lot of Zach Bryan and Cody Johnson. I was like, I want that kind of feel, if that makes sense. And so we sat down to write a song. She had a title. No, I had a title. Excuse me. I had a title in my phone, an old voice memo, months old, called Roots. And it was some of these roots, and I didn't know where it was supposed to go. The river's rolling like you rode in. And so all I knew is that I wanted a Zach Bryan, Cody Johnson upbeat feel breakup song, which I know it's just like Good Days, but the song's different. But it's a similar thing. It's about,
But a really different vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you got a little gravel in your voice.
Yes,
on
sir.
That one.
And so Erica, who's older than me, she was able to relate to it, as far as going through a breakup. I was only a couple months after I had been in my first ever breakup. So I was like, all right, we're going to write a song about this. This is going on the album. And we wrote Roots, and we wrote it really fast. Like, it kind of fell out, and it was one of those times where it was just fun because
That's nice.
I liked challenging myself writing the more colorful language, like how that's in the song. And by colorful language, I don't mean just like swearing up a tree. I mean, like, as far as how we were describing the actual breakup, you have to actually pay attention and put yourself in those shoes to understand that, somebody tore the roots of everything that you've ever known right out from where they were because of how terrible the breakup was. And so that's kind of where the idea came from. And wrote the song. I started playing it out, at rounds and things like that. Played it at a couple gigs, and people started telling me that they really liked it. Oh, that song, it had roots. Yeah, that was really cool. That was a really cool vibe. Oh, I could relate to that one. Gosh, that was so fun. And it very quickly became like, okay, this one doesn't just need to be on the album because I like it, or because Erica likes it, or because we can relate to it. It needs to be on the album because people like it. Other people like it. Which is always the biggest and scariest thing of like playing a new song or like putting a song on the album that nobody's heard is like, God, what if people just genuinely don't like it? But I've had I'm sure there's going to be people that don't like the song, but I've had experiences where people have told me that it has to be on the album. And so that's awesome. And
now, have you read Rick Rubin's book?
I have not.
Struggling to remember the name right now. Oh, it's called The Creative Act.
Creative Act. I've heard of it, but I've not read it.
So I've got it out there. You need to read it.
Okay.
Do you know who Rick Rubin is?
I don't.
Rick Rubin is like one of the most successful producers from like the late 80s to now.
Gotcha.
He's just kind of one of the legendary producers. And what he talks about, one of his main central tenets is you can't write or create work. You can't create for the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that goes against a lot of other kinds of advice out there. And I think all creative advice has its place.
Yeah.
But his perspective is you cannot write for your audience. You need to write for yourself.
Absolutely.
The only thing you can do is write and create for you. And if you like it, if your producer likes it, if your co-writers like it, it's good.
Absolutely.
And there are other people out there who will like it.
100%.
And if the second you stop and go like, would they prefer if I go la da da, or if I go la da da, like
exactly.
What do they want?
Yeah.
What do the people want? Ask
what
TikTok.
do the people want?
Ask the algorithm.
Exactly.
That you lose your ability to create.
Well, you lose your authenticity of it. And that's where the stories really come out, is when people are real and they're authentic about what they believe.
Which I've heard you say a few times, that all of the songs you've written are your stories or your co-writer stories, but they're stories you're connected to.
So that was...
First Degree. That's...
Yes.
And it seems like you really care about that.
100%.
Why?
Because if I'm supposed to sell this story on stage to people, how can I sell it if I don't understand it, if I don't believe it?
Yeah.
So the way I always told people about my last album was every one of the songs is either one of my stories or one of my co-writers' stories. Every one of them. So that's how we make it the most real and relatable thing. But every song on this album is my story. So now it's genuinely the most real and authentic thing. It's not me having to put my shoes in one of my co-writers' experiences.
Yeah.
It's the audience now being able to relate to everything that I've been through, which is why I'm so excited for this album, because it is genuinely like a therapy session in a way. You know, I have 2 acoustic songs on the end of the album. One of them I wrote by myself. I've never put out a song that I've written by myself. I almost never write by myself. And I wrote that song. I have a habit of when I write, I record the whole session, because half the time somebody says something cool and we forget it 20 minutes later. Well, now I've got it on recording. So I have 2 voice memos. I stopped halfway through to go pee. And I came back and hit record again. Both recordings put together of me writing that song, it took 17 minutes. I've never written a song that fast. And I'm one that writes about what I'm going through, but I never write to get stuff off my chest. I've never been the person that's used it as a therapy session, which is not very common for a lot of songwriters. I mean, if you ask Taylor Swift, she writes a lot as like therapy sessions. I've never done that, but I did with that song. And it's the only song I've ever written that fast. And it's the only song that's ever made everybody I've played it for go, whoa.
And which song again is that?
That one's called Bones.
Bones.
And
is that out?
No. It's going on the bottom of the album as one of the acoustic songs.
Now I want to hear it.
I know. And that's one of the songs that is where people are really going to be able to see me. And
dude, that's the best stuff.
That's amazing.
I haven't even heard this song, and it's my favorite one.
It's authentic. And that's how...
That's what everyone wants.
That's what is, and I hate saying it, but that's what's cool now, which is what I always hoped would be cool, because I've only ever wanted to be the authentic version of myself. Because if you're not authentic, your audience can smell bullcrap from a mile away.
Yeah, nowadays especially.
Oh, yeah. And I think the worst thing an artist, an entertainer, anybody can say, the worst thing anyone can say is, this is how I've always done it. This is the song. These are the types of songs I've always put out. This is the way I've always written. This is the kind of producing I've always done. Why? Your audience is continuing to grow and change and go through life. They don't want to feel like you're the same person. They want to know that you're also their favorite artist is continuing to experience life and go through heartbreak and hurt and happiness and good times. They want to be able to feel like they're part of your life, and they can't do that if you're just putting the same repetitive thing out. So that's why I'm so excited, and why that's so important to me, is so people understand that what they're hearing from me is genuine and is really me. And I'm not just a robot that's going to put out stuff to please the audience. I'm going to put stuff out that I enjoy, because why else am I going to be an entertainer in my life if it's not something that's fun? Because that's what entertainment is. It's fun.
It's a perfect place to end this. So, okay. So we have a very important question.
Oh, Lord.
But I have a 10-second thing before the very important question. And that is this. When I was researching for this interview, I don't know if it shows, by the way, but I researched for our interviews, and Jury's claim to fame is he knows nothing about you when he shows
Amazing.
up.
Yeah. If
Not
I don't even
one
know
thing.
your name, that's my ideal.
That's awesome.
don't know
Honestly, I think that's really cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
So you get both sides. But that being said, we are older than the target demographic of almost all of your work, but especially all of your acting work.
Okay.
The weird thing, by the way, is all of your acting work is like remakes of things
Which
from
is
when
really
we
funny.
were kids.
Yeah, there are a couple
Little
of those.
Rascals,
Little Rascals,
Adventures in
Adventures in
Babysitting,
Babysitting.
Hey Arnold.
Hey Arnold.
damn.
Yep.
All 3 of those things were like when we were kids. Okay, so
Adventure in Babysitting was like before we were born.
true, but we got it.
Oh yeah,
You know what
I
I
was
mean.
super. I love
Yeah.
that movie. I watched
You
it all
get
the time.
everything later.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a very important question, but before we ask it, I just want to. You do voice acting.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I want to hear 3 things. I don't know if this is proper to ask or not, but whatever.
We'll
we
see.
talked about. I would
Lord.
love
You're about to
to
ask me to do
hear.
3 voices.
I want to hear you do
Oh,
some
God.
fucking voices. Yeah,
Oh Lord.
if you're into it. So first of all,
I don't.
the Stinky.
My wife
Stanky
tells me that's
Peterson?
not how it works.
Yeah, from Hey Arnold.
Stanky Peterson from Hey Arnold, he talks like this. Kind of talks like a mixture between probably some Arkansas and maybe a little Mississippi added in there.
Okay.
That's Stanky Peterson.
Very
That's
cool.
what I had to do.
Okay, the second one is I don't even know what this is because I'm too old, but it's something about a penguin. You were a penguin.
I'm Pip the Penguin. That was Pip the Penguin right
and there's
there.
somebody out
On tots.
and there's somebody out there that's like, oh my God, it's Pip the Penguin. And for me, that means nothing.
So people,
but it's a penguin, and
so
I like
have
penguins.
Cameo. You guys know what Cameo is?
Oh, yeah.
So parents will like for their 8-year-olds' birthdays be like, can like Pip the Penguin and Freddie the Flamingo. So I'm like, hey, Alyssa, this is Pip the Penguin. Freddie the Flamingo and I want to wish you a happy birthday. All that good stuff. Yep.
Now I need to go hear this penguin.
Yes, you need to go hear Pip the Penguin.
Are you when you all first walked in, you saw my autographed Boy Meets World picture?
I did.
Now him and his wife got that for me for my birthday this
That's
year.
awesome.
But the greatest gift I was ever given.
Also by me. And my wife, she hates when I don't give her credit, but it was all my idea and
Okay.
executed only by me.
Okay.
It was Christmas several years ago. They got me a Cameo, and it was when Cameo was brand new.
Yeah.
Didn't even
Oh,
know
yeah.
that it existed.
I've never even heard of it. I just like randomly found it.
And they're like, "Hey, here, check out this link. This is your birthday gift or Christmas gift." And I was like, "A link? What is this? A mission that I'm on? Is this like a
This is
spy
funny.
hunt thing?" Anyway, I opened it up, and it's a cameo from Mr. Feeney. Do you know who that is?
Yes.
Okay, it's
No
Mr. Feeney,
way.
aka Greg Daniels.
Yeah.
William Daniels. Sorry,
William.
Who's
Yeah.
Greg Daniels?
Why does
Yeah.
Greg sound right?
I don't know. It does seem right.
Feels right,
It's wrong.
but it's wrong.
William Daniels.
Yes.
And he's like, "Hello, Mr. Poole. You probably know me as Mr. Feeney. Jury and Corinne tell me you're a music producer in Nashville."
What?
And like, I think that's tremendous. The arts are a critical role in our society.
What?
And it was, and so anyway, maybe this can be cool for you too. But for me, for some kid out there, Pip the Penguin is the coolest thing ever. For me, Mr. Feeney was the coolest thing ever.
That's
When I
awesome.
opened that cameo, it literally brought tears to my eyes because I'm like, Mr. Feeney is talking to me, and he gave me life advice. He was like, I
Yeah, some
remember
Mr. Feeney stuff.
I remember years where I went with no work at all, but I always found value by practicing my craft and being grateful for every opportunity to act. And you're like,
wild.
Mr. Feeney.
That's
so,
so cool.
Cameo, it's
Absolutely. Cameos.
for
I just
somebody
did
out
one
there,
like
it's
2
a
days
big
ago.
deal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was
There's
a girl's
some kid.
birthday, and I she loved Little Rascals.
And you did
And
Spanky.
I talked about Little Rascals, and I sang her happy birthday and played it on the guitar. And she also, I'll never forget this. Her mom said that she got straight A's and got her A on all of her stuff on her report card. So I got to talk to her about that and like congratulate her and tell her how amazing that was, because not everybody gets that. Not everybody's that smart. And I was like,
Who are your favorite, or sorry, who are your like main requested cameos?
typically, Last Man Standing, which was a show on Fox with Tim
Yeah,
Allen, Nancy
you were in
Travis. I played Boyd Baxter. I played their grandson on that show for a couple of
Oh,
years.
shoot. I watched like
Yeah.
6 seasons of that or something.
So I came in season 7. Yeah. So that's really funny. That's so funny.
That's me.
Yep.
That's
amazing.
incredible.
So I
watched
joined the
it
show.
until they took it off whatever platform. I
Yeah.
was
So
watching
it was on
yeah.
ABC,
Yeah.
got canceled, got put back on Fox. That's when I joined the show. So I was on. I get Last Man Standing a lot, and then a
Wait.
lot of like Tots for Disney Junior,
Were you
which
on
is an
it?
animated
Was
show.
Tim Allen still on it then?
Oh yeah, he was
Yeah,
on it
okay.
the whole time.
right?
Presumably
all
So I
9
remember
seasons.
he kind of got canceled.
all 9 seasons. Yeah.
Which is kind of unfair. But without getting into all that. But
Yeah.
Tim Allen was the father of our childhood.
yeah, Home Improvement.
Yeah, he was the
So,
national
The
dad.
coolest gift I have ever received from somebody was from Tim. It was Christmas. I think it was my birthday, actually. He gave my first year on the show. He gave me a picture of Woody and Buzz Lightyear, my childhood, signed, "Dear Jet, happy birthday,"
Oh wow,
from Tim Allen to infinity and beyond.
that's incredible. Yeah.
Wow.
That was the coolest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. And the only reason it's so much more special is I know the kind of person Tim is and how genuine he is. And I know that he genuinely signed that and genuinely wrote my name to Jet, to infinity and beyond. If it wasn't, it would have been like, all right, he had his assistant pull one of the like printed out signed
Sure.
pictures. But I know Tim, and I know the kind of person that he is, and that's the coolest thing I've ever been given as far as like this industry goes, and like referring to my childhood.
Yeah.
Toy Story was my childhood. That would, I mean, that's the coolest thing ever. From him, hearing him say "to infinity and beyond" on set, I freaked out the first day. He made a joke and said "to infinity and beyond." And I ran off set and was like, I grabbed my parents and I was like, I'm working with Buzz Lightyear. So
Okay. So that was going to be my question. Was like, you knew who Buzz Lightyear was before you met him.
So I knew he was Buzz Lightyear, but it hadn't hit me.
Right.
I
So
was
you hear it.
13, I think, when I joined the show. And then all of a sudden he says like, "to infinity and beyond." And I was like, oh my God. And I literally ran off set. Luckily I wasn't in the scene. I was watching and he said "to infinity and beyond." What? I ran off set, found my parents. I was like, guys, he's Buzz Lightyear. I remember they started laughing. My mom looked at me. She was like, honey, you knew this. I was like, I knew it, but at the same time, I didn't know it. Like it.
the biggest 18 inches is the head to the heart. Am I right?
God.
That
That
was the
started
day
off
Buzz Lightyear went to your heart.
so wrong. Don't know if how I should handle this now. Yes, Buzz Lightyear, the biggest 18 inches from
I've ever
the head
seen.
to my heart. Okay.
I feel like this episode's gonna be called 18 inches now. I
No,
don't.
stop
God.
it. No, you've all heard this phrase before, right?
Yes, I've heard this. phrase
Yes, I've
before.
heard it,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it just was a terrible time to say it. There's so many better times to say it. From talking about childhood movies, and he's like, the 18 inches from your head
Like,
to my
Jesus
heart.
Christ,
It's like,
18.
ugh.
Yeah, I feel like I know what you guys are insinuating, and yeah, that doesn't even make sense. That makes no sense.
You didn't hear what Jury said. Jesus Christ, 18. Jeez.
I'm a 17 max kind of guy, you know.
Honestly, impressive. Okay.
Now here's the
It's
thing.
impressive.
We do have one question
Yes,
that we
what
ask
is it?
every guest.
Oh, you play it on purpose?
Yeah.
God, I was like, geez, you're knocking over White Claw cans for this?
Do you recall when we said we have one question we ask every single guest?
Yes.
If you had to choose,
No. Oh, no.
And you do.
and you do. Now, the important thing about this question
You can't just do that and then back out of it.
is the answer must not come from here.
Oh, it must come from the heart?
From everybody. For everybody listening at home, Jury just pointed to his head,
It must come.
18 inches below.
Of course.
From the heart.
Yes.
Now, if you had to choose,
Okay.
Doesn't make it any better.
And you do.
Oh,
and
okay.
you do.
Of course.
Now, what that actually means,
Oh, my God.
coming from your heart, not your head, is I need an answer quickly.
Immediately.
Okay.
I don't want you to think about it.
First thing
Not
comes to
even for a
mind.
second.
I want the answer that's already in the depths of your soul.
You seem to be a quick answerer.
I'm worried about this because the first thing that comes to mind is never a good thing.
Yeah, but this time it is. This is your
Okay.
one time in life.
Of course.
Yeah.
Tree frogs. What?
So,
Sorry.
if
That's
you
the
had
first
to
thing that came to
choose-
mind.
And you do.
Okay.
And you do. What would you say is your favorite kind of turtle?
Snapping.
Woo!
Yes.
turtle.
Dude,
All right.
they're terrifying. You ever looked at those things?
Oh, they're scary. They're scary
Like
ones.
the alligator snapping turtles?
Oh yeah.
Those are wild.
They can take your hand
I grew
off.
up like racing, like we'd find like random box turtles on the road, you know,
yeah.
my cousin and I would race them at family reunions, that sort of stuff.
Oh,
But
fun.
100% snapping turtles. Oh my God, they're terrifying. Like, I'm sorry, why would I willingly go swimming in Louisiana when I know that they're there?
That's a good question because people do swim with, and there's like snap
People
turtles
go
around.
to
Like that's not
Louisiana, people
okay.
go to
Is that where they are?
Alabama? They're in like swamps.
They're in all sorts. There's snapping turtles in Tennessee, aren't there?
I'm sure, but
think
don't
so.
tell me that.
Never over the water again.
Like, have you seen the guys that pick up the 80-pound snapping turtles that just have like the
There
massive...
are 80-pound snapping turtles?
Oh,
you have.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
You have
haven't
to
seen
look
the
this
videos
up.
of them
No.
like they'll
Every-
give them like a pineapple and they'll just eat through it like paper.
Every
Yup.
time somebody says snapping turtle,
Nope.
in my head is a turtle this big.
No,
No,
that-
the
that's
little
the
ones that like
guys.
bite at
Yeah.
you. No.
He's talking about
Look
the
up-
alligator
I'm talking
snapping
about
turtles.
Can you pull up like an alligator snapping turtle, please?
They can get
one of those
real
those
big.
big snapping turtles.
What's the
Like, they
Like
can
the
take your-
they're dinosaurs.
like
they're
they're-
literally dinosaurs.
like
what's
you're
the
not
most
just at-
intense thing they can bite?
Your
Your
arm?
arm. Like it's
A
not
leg?
like.
Is there a
people
picture
think,
of like a
you can
guy
lose
holding
finger,
one,
you
like
can
one of the
lose a
large
hand.
ones? Look at this. Look at how massive that thing is. For
That
the
is
people,
very big.
For the people at home, that's
Yeah,
what she
please.
said. For the people at home, this is a man that's probably like 220 pounds holding up something that literally takes up his entire torso. It's the size of his entire... Look at how big it is. And
Yeah.
look at the mouth. Like,
And that's a pretty good read on that guy's weight, by the way.
thank you.
It's
I think that's the most
219,
impressive thing of what just
maybe
happened.
219 and a half. I don't.
I'm looking at him and I'm like,
217 and a quarter, wearing a gray shirt, ball cap, green pants.
I'm like, no, that guy is probably about
Can you find like a
220.
gif of alligator snapping turtle eating like a pineapple or some shit, like something wild that Ryan
Find
hasn't
this,
seen?
please.
Because there's tons
Like,
of videos.
yeah,
of it.
so that's a great question, by the way. Do you ask that to every person? on the
Literally
show?
every
Every
single
person. Yeah.
What kind of answers do you get?
snapping is the most common.
Gotcha.
For sure.
Okay,
Snapping
but
and
here's,
box are the top
here's the
two.
thing, though.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Defend yourself.
I didn't just say
yeah.
snapping turtle out of... Jeez.
Like nothing. He just crushes the.
He just...
And for people listening, he just ate a pineapple.
Like half of it
With
in
the
one
shell.
bite.
Okay, that snapping turtle is much larger than I thought turtles
No.
were.
Yeah, they
So-
get real scary.
I'm defending myself because
Yeah,
I know
please.
that that's a common answer. When I say snapping turtle,
Mm-hmm.
I love animals, so I know a lot about animals.
Okay.
When I say snapping turtle, I'm going to give you a definition of a snapping turtle. That's why I went into such detail about an alligator snapping turtle, because that's the first thing that came to mind. I wasn't thinking of those like
The
kid
little
toys that
baby
you were
ones, yeah.
imagining. No, I was imagining the man-eating dinosaurs that we just looked at, because that's exactly what they are.
And they live to be like 100.
Yes!
As well.
Now you say you love animals.
Yes.
What's your top 3 animals?
Oh, horses, elk, and
Not to eat.
horses number 1. Yeah. No. Elk, they're just like such amazing, majestic creatures.
And they taste very good.
massive.
Yes.
Yeah, they do taste really good.
Meerkats, they're so fun.
Meerkats.
Tell me you've never gone to the zoo
Meerkats
and
are
not been
cool.
like,
I love meerkats.
every time you've
Yeah.
looked at a meerkat, you always go,
Bro, ever since Timon,
yep,
Yeah.
love them.
absolutely.
We live in a post-Timon world.
We do.
Wesley, write that down as a show title.
Post-Timon world.
I don't know. That should,
That should be the title of this episode, Post-Timon.
Post Timon.
Interview with Post-Timon.
It's actually incredible. I actually do kind of love that.
Thank you so
we
much.
got Post-Timon on the show.
Thank you guys. Thank
you
guys.
just blow up because of that. Everyone's
Yeah.
like, "Oh shit, Post Malone."
I have to get a grill and face tattoos now,
Yeah.
and love the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders more than the Cowboys.
It's worth it.
Honestly,
To be fair, I've only ever heard incredible things about Post Malone.
absolutely.
Like, everybody loves him, and
He's so
apparently
talented.
he's the best dude.
I want to meet him
Yeah.
so bad.
Apparently,
I'll
he's
be
so friendly.
contrary opinion here. I listened to the Joe Rogan episode he was on, and I thought he sounded kind of dumb.
I don't know.
I don't think any.
I
I wasn't.
actually
I
love
wasn't
that
saying he
episode.
was a scholar necessarily. I'm sure that he's a nice guy.
His music's
good.
Or that he's talented and nice.
He seemed kind of out there.
I didn't say that he had like a 4.0.
He,
C's get degrees.
Yeah.
yeah, C's do get degrees.
And D means diploma.
Now,
Let's go.
We do got to get out of here
Yes.
pretty soon. But before we do, where can all the people find you?
So my music, everything about me is all just under my name, Jet Jurgensmeyer. I always tell people a fun way to remember my name. It's Jet with one T like a plane. And Jurgensmeyer, if you just type J-U, or even just a J, I'll pop up. There's not many Jet Jurgensmeyers out there. It's not like a John Smith.
Sure.
So Jet
Fair enough.
Jurgensmeyer, I'm typically the first one that comes up.
There's
and
not
that's
a lot of Jets out there.
There's not. So that's literally everything from my website to my TikTok to Instagram.
Your MySpace.
All of it. My MySpace,
Yep, your Zynga, your live journal.
my LinkedIn. I had to create that for school. So you can go add
Is it
me
you
on
with a
LinkedIn.
suit?
No, it is not. It's me in a button-up shirt, though.
Nice.
So,
And folding your hands like this.
of course. It's me standing there smiling in a Wrangler button-up shirt. Thank you, Wrangler, for the shirt. This is not a paid promotion. And it's not. They just gave me the shirt. All of my stuff is just under my name. It's super, super easy.
I think Wrangler giving you a shirt is the biggest flex of the show.
Thank you. They have, fun fact, I don't think I've ever paid for anything Wrangler. They've literally given me my jeans and my shirts for like years. It's amazing.
I never paid either. I just steal it.
This is also true. Yes, of course. It's that Californian in him. Get him!
Yeah. Dude, under $900, it's fine. Politics.
Oh.
Well, before we get into politics,
Let's get out of here.
make sure to look Jet up.
Thank you.
Follow him on all the things. Listen
Thank
to all
you.
the songs. Wait for the new album coming out. Oh, do we know when?
We do not have a
don't-
date yet.
we don't have a
or
date
a
yet.
title for the album.
But keep an eye or an ear out.
Might be called Post Timon.
It might be called post-Timon mentality. Oh.
But anyways, guys, as always, thanks for coming to hang out. You guys are awesome, and we'll see y'all next time.
I fell right in from the start in that rundown coffee bar. Who'd have thought I'd find love in here? Blonde hair, broken boots, tapping along to Neon Moon. Who would have thought you'd turn this town into a dance floor? You were just leaving when I started falling, and I started thinking I finally found a love to hold me, like the ones you heard about in stories. It doesn't come by like that, never falling quite that fast. I know that deep, deep down, it could have been a place to start, or a broken heart. And what if I would have chased it, told you how I was feeling? You and me could have started a story you were the star in. But you were just leaving, I couldn't help falling, 'cause I started believing I finally found a love to hold me, like the ones you heard about in stories. It doesn't come by like that, never falling quite that fast. I know